Numerology Flow Group. What a beautiful name. Welcome to you guys' your group session. I usually name a group session based on the team that I'm reading. But inside of this team, I've read it so many times that now it's just like we're coming up with cool, new, fun little ways to show up with ourselves. But Numerology Flow Group actually has a vibration. And I'm sorry that I didn't do this for you guys earlier. I should have put this in there just to make sure that anyone who wants to and can use my app to sort of keep along with what we're going to do today. I just messaged it into the group chat. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to just pull up. It's only for Apple right now, so unfortunately not for us Samsungs or Androids. But I wanted to put that in there just to let you guys know that the Numerology Flow Group is actually a powerful vibration. It is. I know. I'll see. Can I? Where am I? Chrome. I want to put this one up, and let's do this. Can everybody see the screen? Okay. Everybody can see the screen? Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to close it in nice so that we're not wasting space. And we're going to take a look at this. But the Numerology Flow group has a vibration of wizards in it. So I was just all like chuckling at the very beginning of this, thinking, oh my gosh, we've got a very powerful group here. Then over the last couple of days, I have been meeting with you guys, with you ladies, starting with Vivian or Sis, and it was a wonderful connection, and it set forth this energy frequency that I'm feeling that runs through the whole group. And I mean that you guys specifically are a result of the manifestation of your uplines, which are all also clients of mine. And so there's this magnetic momentum that's happening right now. And you guys are like the newest next generation of power leaders that are going to take this organization to the next level. And I remember last year and a year ago, 2 years ago, when I was speaking with, Brooke for the first time or the second time, or Serena, and we were basically planning out this deep moving tree that just like expands on itself. And now that we see this caliber of energy, and you'll know what I mean by the time we get through this, you guys are going to come out here being like, wow, there's some real strong inventory and energy inside of you guys. You guys are anchoring a new generation of leadership. So in a year from now, it's going to be your groups. You guys are going to come back here and be like, I want the group one. My team needs to do this all together. I want to have this experience. And especially as a leader, you're going to want to sit in on this session and actually like take inventory of your whole team. So please keep this in your mind, because with the vibration up here instead of Numerology Flow Group, I measure vibrations. And when I see one that shows up right at the very top, or in this case, like the very end, like this is like the high end of the chart, we're expecting high end energy that comes in through our conversation. So when we get a chance to be here today, it was so much an honor and so much a blessing to do this with you guys. I feel like there's so much on the line. Like, I love having fun. We're going to have fun. I promise we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be great. I'll crack jokes. It's going to be awesome. And then on the other side of this, though, we have a very big responsibility. I'm getting goosebumps here. To do something powerful on this planet. Of course, that's like, the dream. But when we look at a month to a day to a year, 2020, there's a gateway involved. There's also very potent spiritual levels of energy in amongst you guys. Like, just naturally speaking, there's extraordinary power in here, and we're expanding. We have to capitalize on that. This is a very big day for me. I mean, today we did a full-on revamp inside of my office. Well, the part that you guys don't see, there's another side to my office. It's the other end of it. And basically, I redid everything. I basically made a new relationship with my office, a new relationship with my space of wealth. And I wanted to make that happen. I'm like, I got to do this in and out of the next few hours. And it was a meditation. As I was listening to that video I sent you guys, the megahertz video or audio on YouTube, I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to listen to it, but I put it on in the background and I started meditating. And through that meditation, I held your guys' numbers. I built this chart that you guys see in front of you. I noticed, because I speak this language, so I understand what happens when I see 742, 652, 887, or 369. Like, I get what types of characteristics those are. And my heart goes out to us, because those aren't the ones that are showing up in red. either here in column C or here in column F or H, they're not working and they don't work the way we want them to. There's a challenge in communication, whether it be in love, whether it be let me just put this here. Let's see if I can do it like this. Whether we're describing a conversation of love or we're describing a conversation of wealth, we want to make sure that these vibrations are ending or validating inside of a like on a guitar. You can't just press anything. You have to press the right chord, the right frets, so that you can make the right chord, the right sound. And so as you can see, of course, we've got a bunch of my clients in here now. Some of you guys took advantage and decided, no, we're going VIP. I want to have this thing done. And we're going to frame everybody into a state of mastery or a state of like balance and vibration of actual communication. That's what we aim to do together in our time. But through that, because we're here as a group, we get a chance to do it's kind of like the, I guess this is a bad example, like the spiritual Ouija board. In this case, what we're doing is we're all lifting each other, and the effort that we all have to put in, it's exponential. It's not just me and you having a conversation. I would love to do that. If you guys haven't had that with me yet, I've had so much fun with you guys so far. I would love so much to be able to work with all of you that have not yet worked with me privately. But there's more. When all of us come together, it's a powwow. We're all pouring all of our energy into the big cauldron, the big digital campfire that we sit around right now, that we've created across the world, that we're actually going to be doing some spiritual work here. So if we're all flying together and we're all part of a team together, we're going to see things in each other that we identify with, because this is what's really going on. We look towards, like I was just working with Marie the other day. We look at a bunch of different numbers and that show up inside of your birthday. Inside of your chart, there are a list of them. So when we look at today's, view, Angel's going to get one of them, two of them, three of them out of a potential 5 or 6 or 7 different vibrations that show up. This is a fraction of what we're seeing. So when I'm talking about Tersa's situation, Angel's going to be like, I hear you there. I know exactly what that's like. Because, it was, as far as Tersa's concerned, July, Angel was born in a July month. It's the same numbers are showing up inside of other people's charts. So there's going to be a communications thing where I'm not speaking my truth and I'm not quite coming out with what I need to say properly. We're going to go through these. I'm going to teach you guys what all of the numbers look like, 1 to 9, and then there's the mastery set as well. And you guys get a chance to paint by numbers and really, see yourselves, or find your strength where another one lay weak, or find your own vulnerability where you have support from the people that are inside of your community. And we quilt together, we embroid together, we create a fabric together. And this is why I'm so blessed to do this, is because this is like, I remember when I did my very first one, and I had no idea what numerology, I knew what it was, but I had no idea that you could switch it around. I thought it was just like, oh, that's your numbers. Boom, you've been dealt in life. And now I realize it more like the picture's not done yet. What are you going to draw next? That's the reality. We're not dealt a bad hand. We just have a starter set. And then as we go through life, we upgrade. Some of us get married and change our last names. Some of us don't use our full names. And you kind of go through these transformations as you become an adult and you find your way through the world. And some people never do. And you guys got to be like, let's just go easy on the people who are not awake yet. Not everyone's ready to be woken up, right? Like Morpheus said this to Neo in the Matrix and said, like, it's not, we don't open a mind once it's too old, because then it's not the same. You have to be vulnerable and impressionable. So the fact that you guys have all opened up as an entrepreneur to believe in something that's more powerful for you than, just working a job, you stand above, you stand apart, you stand in a different space. And I'm excited because I'm like catching myself here, be like, dude, this is a very powerful channeled message. If it wasn't you guys, I would be, Chicken Little, the sky's falling inside of my Facebook Go Live. I would be out there proclaiming the message that is power today, which is that we have to be vulnerable enough to receive things. Partnership. Okay, there's a big, huge partnership gateway. So anything to do with togetherness, or I'm not doing this alone, or I have to learn how to receive. That's a tough one because we were very good at giving, right? And then at a certain secret level, we're also really weird and selfish, and we don't really have that connection of vulnerability around. So being able to be vulnerable to receive, vulnerable enough to give, to work together towards things together. The fact that you guys are all here, you're taking coaching, instruction, you're with others, we're all like lifting each other up. These are the important messages that we've got for a very powerful day today. So I'm excited, and I'm very into this kind of stuff. This is the language of the gods, and in case any of you sort of like don't believe in that or go that far in, I promise you this tells me more about you than you'll more most likely even want to tell to yourself. And just seeing it and appreciative so much of all of the, because I know already Vivi, Vanita, Marie, and Tanji, we work together. There's this sense of, I want to be here to help people. I want to be here to do things for others. I'm a facilitator and supporter. And so having your purples and greens and black vibration there, the fact that you're really here with alignment helps create this sort of like, you can jump mentality. Like, we got you. You can do this. You can really step into the new, step into the beginning. So what step into the spotlight of your success. So with this information, I just want to say that this is extraordinarily sacred, and that I'm not going to misuse this, and none of you guys should either as well. This is a very important thing. So I'm extraordinarily blessed that we get a chance to do this together. We've got some ground to cover. So while we look at this chart, you can see there's a lot of colors here. The only ones that are really particular to you guys are these 6 colors. Okay, either it's a good vibration, or it's not a great vibration, or it's a really good, but it's also a challenge. Like, it's a severe challenge, so it can either go good or bad. But these are the 6 colors, and they show up in these vibrations. Okay, so in these 2, they're only inside of here. So when we see that we're using those colors, they apply to these. These ones, where your birthday, your life path, and your name, those are for me. Okay, because I want to know, color-coded, where you guys are. So I'm just going to expand this so you can see these numbers here are color-coded. And so I know that when I see a 1, I'm taking a look and I know that this is Angel's and Vivi's life path, okay? And also when I'm seeing a different color, I can quickly point you out based on your name and also your birthday. So I have the Zoom chat open so you guys I just wanted to make sure I catch up to this. If anybody wants to sort of, be a leader and moderate on the chat, it'd be great. And then if I miss something really important, just unmute and ask me. Counted wrong then, need to record this. I'm recording now. Didn't think about it to use it to test on the I don't understand what I said there. Do I need to take notes? You can. I would. I mean, I'd say at least something to remember me by. I will record this, but nothing beats your first intuitive responses inside of yourself that say, oh shit, that was good, and you want to remember it. But I would suggest that you go back on this information with notes and a pause button, and then you really journal through this when you get the deeper level insight or how this really connects to you. Because really we're writing letters towards our future and towards our past to heal this thing so we can create the success we all truly came into. I read what you guys wrote me. Everybody wrote me something really awesome. It was a lot of what I'm seeing here, which is this lack of self-sense and lack of power. I can't step into my light. I'm afraid of myself in a certain way, or do I really deserve this? And and there's a lot of doubt. Okay, there's a lot of this doubt stuff, and I can feel it. It's okay. That's that orange number. The 3s want to do stuff like that to us, and it's okay. I mean, I get it. We're all human beings. We all have a bit of that inside of us. I'm here to help you know where that is, so that when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. There's parts of my chart that are going to be a little bit more foggy, and parts that I really want to crystal clear HD get really locked into. So I'd say definitely it's good to take notes, but if you feel like you just want to enjoy this, you can. But yes, I appreciate that. Angel, someone at the door. Okay, good. Go get it. I just noticed Tanji's birth name is incorrect. That's right, because it was with an I, right? So we did like this, and thank you. And then I just wanted to make sure that I had that, because we did the we did the session. So I just want to make sure it's up here, somewhere here. And when I find it, it was here, 718. Is that right? Okay, so, oh, right, because your new one looks like this. Okay, I get it. Okay, so it was like this, 718. Good. You can still leave that there. And Adler, not Alder. Okay, so it's like that. Thank you. Saliver and oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna quickly pull that out just so that we can make space for the parade of names that Vivi comes down with. Just make sure it's all good, okay? And then as long as it is, I'm just gonna beep. I'm gonna put it back in. I'm pretty sure that I actually had it right, so the vibration's correct. So it's at least that way. But you know, it's nice to make sure if any of us got that OCD that obviously spells correct, right? But okay, it's got there, Adler, good. Okay, so if everything looks okay with the details, let me know. And also the way that the birthdays show up, just in case just in case I made a mistake here. What did I do here? Gonna come back. Just in case I made a little bit of a mistake, I just want to make sure that I fix it. Let's put this back here. Did I screw this up really bad? I just want to make sure that think I did not. I'm okay. That these numbers are going to correspond to your birthday. Yeah, I did do something there. Let's do this. Okay. Sorry, just going to pull myself back together. So your birthday should turn into a number. Okay, so it should turn into 3 numbers actually. The month, the day, and the year. So you can put this on a calculator, but really I'm just condensing the numbers, and then I'm rewriting them month, day, year, and then I'm condensing them again. And then if I see 11s or 22s, I'm going to keep up because those are mastery numbers. And yeah, so this is you guys. We're going to have some fun working through this. It's a wonderful looking group of individuals. You guys all have something extremely power to offer and to give. And there's a lot of really this is going to be a fun year. I'm really blessed to be able to help you guys through with this. And I pray that this takes you get to a chance to have the same experience with the team of yours. So let's go through these numbers. Okay, so this is the course. This is basically the understanding of the definitions. And to be fair, if I'll just pull someone's chart out, let's just, see anyone here. Usually everyone's got at least one of every number. So let's pick on Vivi because obviously she's got a lot of numbers here. So it'll be easy to prove my point. But we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Ooh, you got a 5? Yeah, there's one there sitting there, but really it's so hiding. But interesting. That's not there. So that's why you're such a sweetheart. There's no mean bone in your body. The 5 would be a very angry version of you. It's not there, right? Then we have the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9. And so you see how she's got all the numbers. Even her driver's license does have a 5. So above all things, you got a heavy foot. It's I want to get there fast. And it shows up on the driver's license of all places. So yeah, but you see how we have all the numbers in the chart? Part of you guys are going to recognize a bit of yourselves in every one of these definitions. So just be, kind of aware of that and pay attention to it. As we hit 5:55, it's nice to know that we're in this space where we're going to give you guys an extra layer of definition over everything you've been experiencing in your world so that it kind of makes a little bit of sense to know, this is the part of me. This is where I get to see this is the situation that I go through. So the first 3 numbers are 1, 2, and 3, okay? These are junior, and they're the baby numbers. They're circulated around the self. And so they're all about the, how I feel. And when we see junior numbers, they're an entry point. So we see the 1, and the 1 shows up in most of you guys here. I see it all over the place. This is leadership. When it's on the positive side, and we'll talk about what makes things positive and what makes things negative. If it ends in an even number, it's at least positive, and it starts to go into a 4, 6, or an 8. If it ends in a colored one, the last number is a 4, 6, or an 8. Then it's balanced. Okay, so it's actually you can balance some communication on it. But that's how you balance on the. If it's uneven or if it's small, then it will be imbalanced, and then it will be towards more so the negative aspects of the number. So these numbers get a chance to play. Like we'll see the 1, there's 1 in the positive, 1 in the positive, 1 in the positive, and then we don't see and then 1 in the positive. So there are positive ones, and then there are negative versions of the ones as well. And in the negative side of a 1, we can't see ourselves. We don't see how good we are. We don't see our power. And, we will neglect ourselves, or our ego will just be blind to us. And so, like, maybe this is a Tersa thing because her number shows up with a -1 in there. Or Vinita Kumari Gupta. This is what her full name said, that there was a -1 in there. Like, I'm not taking myself the way that I should, or the way that I don't see myself for who I truly am. And it can be a little irritating for these numbers. On the positive side, then we see the numbers that show up, like Felicia's got a +1. Zenrika's got a +1. Tanji's got a +1, sorry. And we see Vivi's a life path 1. Angel's life path 1. There's a vision that says, I want to stand above. I want to stand by myself or on my leadership. And I want to be confident about the direction that I want to go to. I'll decide and then I'll deal with it later. And there's a leadership mentality that shows up there that really helps us out. So it's nice to have that. Raquel has that too. She's got the 1s in her chart. And, Felicia was born in January. For all you January people as well, it's a nice vibration of I'm independent. I'm a strong woman. I want to do something powerful. And so we see the 1s in control. People want to follow you. Out of control, they don't want to follow you, and it's depressing because you need leader. You need someone to follow you as a leader, and it will be independent, and I don't care about other people. I just want to be by myself. So there's a challenge there. Now, the nice thing about this business is that we're going to attract leaders, but then the catch is at a certain moment, you're going to want to train them to fly the nest and to break free. And now I want to have my own team. And, there was a split inside of Brooke's team earlier, right? There was you guys went into 2 different directions, and it's been happening. Successful leadership does that ever since back in the day, where one leader decides to take control and say, you know what? I don't want to run underneath you guys anymore. I have my own magic organization. I'm building my own brand. I'm a leader. I'm going to do my own thing. And I've got it right here inside the 1. So as much as I want to be a company man, as much as I want to be, in my friendships and in my relationships, I want to create my own platform. I want to create my own tools where I'm at the top of my own ladder. So the 1s are like that. And we get next to the number 2. On the positive side, again, perfect looking gateway for anyone that's in this right now. If you see a 2, if you have a 2, doesn't matter. You can't do this business alone anyway. So take advantage of the fact that it's February and that, it's the month of partnerships. So you really want to iron in on meeting new people and, reaching out to your power base and, connecting with the people and forget trying to sell them. See how they're doing, what's new with you, and really sort of find out what's happening with them and get the energy moving. You don't have to go in and try to close everyone, but be genuinely interested in your network. You never know who's needing who, and you'll just be the connector. And then it really grows over time. But 2s, that's what this is all about. I know a guy, you come in with me, I got a really good coach, I want to do this together. The power of working together is huge. On the challenge side of it too, these people don't know how to do things on our own. And I say our because I got 2s in my chart. We're very lacking in self-motivation. The 1 just won't tell anybody. It'll just do its own thing anyway, when it should probably have mentioned something. Whereas the 2, we're more likely to just not do anything unless someone pushes us. So if you guys haven't picked out your pod partners or your running mates in this business, your accountability partners, you really should. And this may not be a bad idea to look and see, oh, I've got someone in similar numbers. I may want to run side by side with this. Or, after we go through your charts, you may be like, yeah, I really like your story. And then you start this dialogue and it becomes a very wonderful partnership inside of the business. You can connect ideas on and really bounce off of each other would be a really solid move, okay? Because that's the power of the 2, especially this guided message that's happening right now because of the gateway that we're in. It's important to pay attention to that vibration, especially if you have it in your chart. Even more so if you don't have it in your chart. This is it. This is your chance because it doesn't show up inside of your chart. So we're looking at 2s showing with partnership, okay? Then we come into 3, and this is the end of the junior numbers. And then 3 shows up with love. This is my heart emoticon, okay? So I'm depicting the entry point into love by the number 3. It's the junior version of love. And at the 3 version, we have Kristen, Tirsa, Marie Claude. We've got Vanita. We've got Kristen again. And we also have Felicia with the 3. 3s are big for you guys. Okay, so there's like a lot of us with that energy inside of our chart. Even Aaron as well. The vibration of 3 on the positive is fun, party, enjoy. You guys want to have a great time. These are good friends. They're social. There's a vibration here of like let's do that. And that was the excitement of what I was feeling when I was in this, is like, I'm ready to have a good time. I'm ready to do this. And I want to have enjoy. Creativity levels are high. So these are artists and like creators. And I know Kristen's a photographer. So there's a feeling in there of like, like a creation, and I want to be creator. And it's funny, Kristen, you're a life path 3 and a name path 3. So it makes sense to your soul to profit from something in terms of creativity, because that's basically, the whole point. But, when we look at the vibration on the other side, who's on the other side of the camera? Who's on the other side of the story? Who's on the other side of the making everyone feel good is the person who's keeping everyone up. And that can be a challenge, because then we get into, feeling depressed, but not showing it. No, we're not going to show it. That would be bad. I just want to make everyone feel like I'm doing good. And then the anxiety can come and start to really give you heartburn. That 3 just is like, you feel it on the inside, but on the outside, no one would know. And on that's the challenge, because, this will turn into, I need to have fun right now, over drinking, over eating, over smoking, wasting time, procrastinating. And then the more serious ones, worry, anxiety, lack of belief in self. Like this is the ideas are starting to expand on each other here. So the negative 3 comes in and says, I don't know if I can do this. What if it doesn't work? And who knows what's going to happen? And that mind chatter that attacks us so much, we have to look back at that and just be like, it's okay. I love you. I love me. I get it. Everyone gets nerves and jitters. Bravery and courage are actions in the presence of fear, doubt, uncertainty, and dismal outcome. They operate in light of that. They don't operate in spite of that. This is like, you need to be brave in order to follow through with your dreams. And the part of the 3 wants to just dream. And the challenge is that when you have these dreams, you can't live there. You can make that your reality. So it can be a tough time to take yourself seriously, a tough time for other people to take you seriously. But back on the positive side, if you got a bunch of 3s in your chart, you're probably going to look pretty good, pretty young. You probably don't want to age the same way everyone else does. It wants to stay nice and young looking and feeling, or at least childlike acting or childlike feeling as well. So, those are types of things that show up in the positive, but that also brings anxiety to think, I wish I could just grow up. I wish I could just, mature and really find my voice or find my maturity or my stability. The 3s are kind of like, I'm junior. I don't want to grow up. This is your prince or your princess vibration inside of here. So we look at these junior numbers and they teach us about what's going on within us. Then we look towards the bigger numbers, 4, 5, and 6, and they look about what's going on outside of us, like the result of us. So on the inside, we see ourself, our partnership mentality, and our creativity. Then we see what we do with our hands, what we do with our hearts, and what we do with our ambition, our mission, our vision, our purpose. So we see the number 4. And we take a look at like Angel, we have Aaron, we've got Felicia showing up with a 4. I have a 4 in my chart. Tanji's got one in there. Marie Claude's got the 4. Vanita's got a 4 in her chart, powerful looking. This is good. Kristen, you got a really nice, solid looking 4. That's a 22. Okay, with you guys in these numbers that are showing up in here, looks like almost everybody has it. Like Angel's got it. Okay, she's a light name path 4. Aaron's got one. Felicia's got one. Kristen's got one. Okay, Tirsa, you're missing this one. This is described as discipline. Okay, so if you're like, I don't got the discipline and I want to, then this is probably where it's going to show up, at least at the front end. So there may be something deeper inside here that says, no, when I stick my mind to it, I'm going to do something. That's this part. But the structure is probably not quite there, right? Same thing happens with Raquel. It could be hiding somewhere in there, but free in the wind kind of feeling. Let's just do whatever comes to mind. Then we have, Tanji comes back out with the 4. Marie's got the 4 in there. Vanita's got the 4. There's strong discipline. This is good for you guys this year, okay? This is especially good for you guys this year because 2020 is a 4 year. So we're looking at this energy being like, this is gold this year. This is that vibration that's inside of you that says, should I take notes? And then someone's like, why would you ask that? Just take notes. If you said that and you're like, just yes, take notes, it's probably because you got the 4 in there somewhere because you absolutely want to record what's happening. So it's nice to be able to see that. And just because you don't see it here, Tersa's probably hiding somewhere in here for sure. Because you obviously, you're taking notes. So obviously you got the 4. But there is a value in here that thinks we want to make sure that these 4s get a chance to get good at stuff. And getting good at stuff is very important because there's only a few things you guys really need to get good at. I know this is a bit of a tangent, but we're talking about like communication, okay? You have to definitely know how to talk to others, and you also have to learn how to talk to yourself. That's a lot about your mindset, so it really dives into there. Okay, your skill set, that's things like writing an ad, journaling, things that you literally do, things that you think about or feel are inside of your mind. And then, of course, your spiritual, I call this one spirit set. I don't really know if there's a better word for that. I even made up the word. But this is kind of like your mind, body, and soul. So there are different spaces that you need to focus on. If it's skills, we're talking about your diet, your hydration, your exercise. If it's talking about mindset, we're talking about how do you journal your future, your 10-year vision, your goals and stuff, and things like you need to do. Perhaps maybe your spirit set is when you go into meditation and you just have that intuitive like feeling of feel good. And I think communication kind of ties everything together. This is basically the wealth alignment. This is a program that I have. And then on top of that, we go into what you guys are learning right now, and also leadership, which is the passing of the baton so that your organization is built on these pillars. This is like the house of success. You make sure you have this done this year. And the reason why I'm saying is because 4 is all about the skills. So making sure you know how to drive your actual business. Same way in a car. Where's the flicker ticker? You know, the flicker ticker on the car. And then the viewing mirror thing, the rear view mirror. Like, certain aspects of your machine. The same thing with your business. Do you know how to provide content? Do you know how to drop value? Do you know what it's like when you're trying to build an audience versus gain conversions and engagement, versus opt-ins? And these are skills and language that needs to be expressed on, and getting good at it this year is what wins the Super Bowl. Okay. Like they're not going to do some crazy moves on the ice. I'm Canadian. We talk like hockey, right? So they're not going to do some crazy moves on the ice, but they're going to, run the drill. They're going to do the same things every day. They're going to get good at them. And that's what builds a castle, is the bricks. And so we really got to look at these, because just a second ago, all those bricks, blocks, boulders, and those are your limiting beliefs and your challenges. But if you just get up in the morning, you're like, you know what, not today, Satan, I'm going in and I'm going to do this. And you're going to really create some power inside of your world. This is taking your ownership back, taking your discipline forward, moving that energy. This is really what we need to do this year. And next year we'll all go traveling, because next year's a travel year, adventure, new beginnings. So just cool to kind of see that, especially as we're talking about the number 4 now. We see that time is money. This is the entry point into the, what I do. So the 4 is very logical, very skill-based, very technical. It's not thinking, it's not feeling, it's not emotions, it's not intuition, it's not a sense of belonging, it's a sense of getting your shit done. And so we see that number 4 wants to get good at stuff, reading every day, audios every day, that kind of thing. You guys will never be bored again as an entrepreneur. If you ever say you're bored, you're not driving your business, growing yourself. And a lot of people say this, I work harder on myself than I do in my business. That's called exercise, diet, hydration, reading, and taking in things, right? But when we see in the 4, we see a student. We see someone who wants to learn something. So the positive end of this, you're looking at people who want to study stuff and they want to learn things. So a lot of you guys in here are like, this is gold, this is good, this is mapping out because we're all spiritual. The 4 is very technical. So the fact that we can put these two together, it's like, wow, because I've got the 4s in my chart. I know what it's like. to be skeptical, but I also know what it's like to love being spiritual. So having a language like this, it's a wonderful feeling, a wonderful thing to have, but it also gives us a skill-based opportunity. So when we look at the conversation for wealth, or I guess of communication, now we have on one side the love, which is baby love, like I've got a date, or the 4, which is baby wealth, which is like I got a job, or like I want to be in love, or I want to be wealthy. And so there's that state of junior or a small level feeling. And if we get caught here, it can feel like I'm working really hard and I'm not getting anywhere. Or I just keep working my job and I keep working. And like, I'm not, like I keep on digging myself even further. And this is a lot of that energy that's going to happen into us. Also, it'll start to pinpoint and nitpick at you and say things to yourself like, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. No one's going to listen to me. I don't have a sense of belief. I have no precedent. I've never done it. This is a brand new thing. And all of those like limiting beliefs of the 4 are like, yeah, but you have no experience. And so that'll be that inner chatter, and it'll be right because it's logical. And logically speaking, there's no way to, quantify it. And you haven't done it before. So you have to settle that thing. And the best way to settle it, clean up your room, go and clean up your house, take out the garbage, go and do something productive, go for a run, study something, read a book. Doing something that will make your space better is the best way of handling this information, this energy, if you will, that, comes in, just takes you down. Because next thing you know, you'll be sad and you'll feel guilty that you're not driving your business, but it'll be a lack of self-belief that pushes you away from it anyway. Like, I remember I read in one of your charts, you're like, I don't even have a page yet. And I'm like, man, you gotta get up. You're the brand. You are the brand. So this is where we build it. This is the 4. Perfect segue into what we're doing with 2020, because this is a 4-year. Get to work. Let's do this. Let's build our systems and our processes so that next year we're just like it's a walking encyclopedia. We understand it all, and we're going to make money this year. Then we come into the 5, and this is where things shift. This is an uneven number, and it takes a dive. It takes a run or a jump or a move in, shifts the energy. There's an ambition and a passion and a fire that burns within you. Okay, so Tersa's like, yeah, let me add. This is life half 5. Okay, so we have a vibration here that just wants to keep going. That ambition that I don't want to stop. Aaron's got this vibration too, and it's getting more and more like bigger as you get older in life, because it's in a certain age range of your life, right? Who else has it? Raquel's got it. These are people who are they're fighty and they're scrappy and they want to do big things. And I know Vanita's going to get there too. You're approaching that. I have that vibration as well too. The 5 on the positive, very altruistic types of people. They care about animals and others and want to protect the unfortunate or those with certain circumstances or challenges. They fight for others. The social justice fighters, these are warriors and champions. They win and they want to protect. But on the negative side, they chase debts. They chase negative habits. They don't know when to stop. They're over this or over that, or it's like for me, it was a negative addiction. I grew up with addiction everywhere, and it was so bad. And I still have an addictive quality, and you have got to keep that in check. You got to make sure that it doesn't take you, because for me, it was drugs and food and sex and alcohol, and and then it was a carousel, and then it would just be like whatever's Wheel of Fortune. What am I going to get hooked onto next? And it was, now I'm glad it's numbers and helping people get better in their lives. I'm like, okay, I'm stay there. And this is a great place to build my life now. And I would not have been able to build a family without getting clean. But the 5s are like, I'm fighting myself. I'm doing something against me. And it was trapped inside of my numbers in a really negative way. So I had this vibration of, I don't like me, and I don't like what I look like, or I'm too this, or I'm not enough, or I'm too short, or I'm not cool enough. I'm always bullied, and people want to fight with me, and I always fight with myself. And that challenge of the 5 can rips apart marriages and families, and people need to break free. You can't do that to me energy. It's like, I want to, and it'll take on other people's fights. So for those of you guys who have one, it's a blessing to know you, especially to be on your side, because I wouldn't stand in the front of anyone who's got a negative 5 in their chart. It's not a good place to be. You don't want to do that. You want to be in alliance with people on the ambitious side that says, I'm going to cut through anything, even you. I'm going to cut through me. I'm on your side. and then you really run together. That's the most perfect thing, because if I know there's fives in someone's chart, I just kind of quietly don't want to feed into the fire. I don't want to argue. I don't want to be problematic. I don't want to give them target practice, because the fives can get very angry about that, and they want to prove themselves. And if anyone stands in their way, they're gone. And that's like, even if it means that it'll hurt you in the process, that five can really take you down, especially when it comes to debts. Chasing wealth. We don't want to chase it. We want it to chase us. And that's where we get into some of these bigger numbers. We're like, whoa, Bobby, look at all these big ones. They've got lots of dollar signs in them. This is what changed everything for me. I went from having a vibration that got the job, but just as quickly got fired. Sometimes I even got fired before I started. It happened one time, and I'm like, wow, I'm even getting fired before my first day. And so it wasn't going into wealth. It was going into la la land. I had to find numbers that were going to set me up for long-term solidarity and vibration. So this is like the power row. Okay, these are the numbers that we want to be in, and they definitely want to land on an 8 or a 6. So just taking a look at some of these definitions, they all usually end green or purple in a 6 or an 8, or the black one. So that's the common denominator inside of wealth connection, communication, and power and responsibility, and like good things that we really want to build on, that we can be trusted as leaders and organizations. And we spread our message, and it's such a beautiful feeling. And I'm looking at my life now being like, oh yeah, because we write this out, and I'm building it now, and it took me a few years to get it. And if it takes you a few years to get it, I'm with you, okay? So just don't get weird if you're like 2 weeks from now waiting for your thing and nothing's happening. Get busy, because it's going to happen eventually, and you'll wish that you had done more actions. It's just, ask any old person who's like dying. They're like, I wish I did more in my life. Like, that's what they all say. And so we really want us to live vicariously through them. And when we get to these bigger numbers, okay? So look here. I'm noticing Tanji's new number is 358. It shows up as 786. Can I see? Because I added the www and .com. But if you can confirm that for me and let me know, because this was her website. Because I know that we had the business, and I didn't know what else to write for her. So just maybe double check for me. Just her name shows 358. That should be right. But let me know which one it's supposed to be, or how it's supposed. Or you can maybe I can unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. Hey.
On the app for just her name, it shows 786.
Okay.
Not 358. Yeah.
Okay, let me just double check that again myself too, and then we'll get back on there. But I appreciate that. And if you guys are using the app, I appreciate you guys. I do have a contest right now that if you are caught using it, that I will enter you into a draw to win a $2,600 program that I put together. And it's super cool. Basically goes into this over like 12 hours. So it's a mastery program. And we're coming out with another one live end of next month, I think, or something around there. Or it could be the end of this month. So it'll be really cool. And if you guys want in that, just let me know. What about?
Yeah, I'm going to definitely post it.
Cool. And then what about this one? So then we took tangiveloso.com, and then that one was also 786. Cool. Okay. So back to this vibrations here, shift here. The 6 is the most powerful number, guys. This is the family. This is the mix between love and wealth, the connection, the intersection, the maturing point. This is where you get perspective. Like we had the junior numbers. Now we see this is the top of the intermediate numbers. So this really brings in adulthood and motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood, leadership. This is the one that has communication in it. This is both love and wealth. It's a time and energy investment, and it starts to really get magnetic at this point. And you even start to look at the shape of the 6, and it's like a spiral, like a Fibonacci, that just kind of like a shell that comes out, and it basically wants to keep spiraling out. Okay, so this is a very powerful number that shows us that we care. And when we see this, we see, Aaron's got it. Felicia's probably going to have it somewhere as well too. We see it inside of June birthdays, Tanji's birthday. Vivi's chart, my chart as well, inside of your names. So on the positive side, when you see this working in power, this is leadership at its finest because it's also maternal and mothers are leaders. So we have that mother or feminine energy. It's that feeling of I've got to raise my young, or I have to become two people. I really go through that transformation process, and you basically show up as the caretaker for something very vulnerable in its first moments inside of the world, inside of life, for all the parents out there. And for me, born in June, I feel you. You know what I mean? Like I get it because I've got that vibration in my birthday to know what it's like to want to be a dad and want to be a parent and be a conscious parent that's involved and really like wants to mentor my children, strap children, put in the word wealth, business, entrepreneur. I want to grow my baby entrepreneurs so that they're not so vulnerable and that one day they have their own entrepreneurs and they're going to their own parties and the saga continues. And I'm just sitting there laughing like an old man here, like watching all my family have fun with each other. You know, that shows up through wealth in my mailbox. So we want to really utilize this technology, for the sixth technology inside of numerology to create the value of family inside of your teams. So whether you have a team or not, come up with your team name. Like come up with your own like dance squad of your business so that you know that you guys have your own special handshakes, you guys got your own chat groups, because you guys are about to pull people in. If you're not the type of person to create your own family, wow, you guys have Unleash Your Freedom, you've got Freedom Team, you've got GPM, you've got layers of family that you can fall back on, depending on who you're, like whatever your clients feel most aligned to. But you should have one if you're going to be dealing with six energy. Where's the table that we eat at your house? Like, where's the family around your vision? On the negative side, we see sixes, and there's some sixes in the reds. I have a 6 in the red as well too. We give more to others than we give to ourselves. Like that's huge. And that's a big, like, parents will do this, right? They'll give the shirt off their back and the last spoonful for their kids. And we'll do that. And we really want to, and, always serve our children. But the fact is that if we don't serve ourselves, then the universe is confused at us and we're causing an energetic kink in the hose. Okay. And that's like a feeling that the energy doesn't flow here. And that would be really weird since we're the numerology flow group. So if you're having a -6 and you're not loving yourself the way you truly deserve to or desire, you're falling into one of the big cracks of this whole like conversation. You have to treat yourself like a piece of the wealth that the universe wants. It's like you're turning the old lights on so that the universe postal service knows where to deliver your goods. So if you don't act like anyone's home, if you don't treat yourself like a home, the universe doesn't know where to deliver your energy and be like, I'm searching for this, but they don't seem to be standing up for their own wealth. And it's challenged because Aaron, this looks like my chart because you're born in June, just like me. I have a -6 inside of my name, just like you did. And it basically meant that I would handle and take care of everyone else except for myself. And I would just love to serve everyone. That would make me feel good if I would just take care of other people. If they were happy, I was happy. But then it just got me taken advantage of. It got me left out of the loop. My girlfriends would cheat on me, or people would break up with me, or whatever would happen. And I just wasn't operating at a space of self-love. It wasn't until I hit my 1, which I got a little selfish, and said, I have to learn how to love me because the 1 is about the self. I have to do that because the 6 was, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And there was none left for, hey, what about me? And then I would get sad, being like, nobody cares about me. I don't even care about me. I just care about everyone else. And there's that program that starts to give you the negative feedback from feedback, right? And you don't really want to have to deal with that because that sucks because it's like being trapped in mirrors. So when we see this, we're like, build a solid relationship with yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Buy yourself something really nice. Do something really nice for yourself. Say really nice things to you. Put them out on the cards. I know I saw Brooke posted a picture about laminating some of these things. I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm like, I can't laminate them because they change. So I sticky note them. And when they change, or if the sticky note falls off, I take that as a sign. And I'm like, I'm going to put a new affirmation a new upgrade of vibration, and I'm going to basically tell my future what it's going to look like. This is really having a loving relationship with yourself, that you put your magical codes all over the place inside of your life. It's a wonderful tool, technique, and we definitely love doing that. Me and my wife, our whole house is filled in sticky notes. But
Bobby,
okay.
Angel got kicked off. She wants to know if you can unlock so she can get back in.
Okay,
She had
sure.
internet issues. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate you for that. Let's unlock the meeting, and then that way she can come back in. And we're not gonna be weird about it, right? We have to make sure she's here. But sometimes the connection can internet issues, right? So we have to be cool with it. I was dealing with, I can't remember who it was. I'm not sure if it was any of you guys. And the internet connection was horrible, and it was just like, oh, this is so frustrating. I was cool, but the girl I was talking to was just like, this is so bad. I've been waiting for this, and I want to be here, and so it can be really frustrating to deal with that. Welcome back, Angel. We're totally cool to have you here, and it's good to just take a small little breather. So I appreciate you guys. We've been going right now for a straight up hour. So as soon as we go up to the end of the numbers, what we'll do is we'll just quickly take a 10-second stretch and get some water, and then we're going to go back again, and we're going to do all of your alignments. So it's going to be really cool. But I definitely do not want to leave anyone out if you got kicked out of the room. But what we'll do is we'll keep going. Okay, so the 6, the most powerful side, it's the best number in numerology. On the negative side, it's one of the most challenging things you'll ever have to experience. It's the lack of sense of self and self-love. Everyone else it's like the world's worst nightmare. Everyone else is happy but me. And I'm making it happen. I'm making everyone else happy, but I don't take care of myself. Very, very difficult stuff to deal with. I've had to. So for me, it's very dear to my heart that you guys honor that path of self-love. Let's keep moving forward. So the 7 vibration, this is an interesting number. This is where I tell people that the M and the F are indicative of male or female style energy. So when we see the 7 is neither. It is spiritual. It is both. It is the connection of divine energy. So when we see 7s inside of your guys' charts, we get an understanding, and I know there's lots of 7s here hiding inside of each individual numbers of your names, because I feel you guys. I really do. The 7 is about the intuition. It's that divine space of just knowingness, that feeling. There are 2 ways to educate yourself. At the 4 level, you would learn something, read something, or digest a video or audio. At the 7 level, you would meditate or visualize or go into a journey inside of your spirituality to gain the insight. So it's a very divinely connected Akashic record style of an energy vibration that shows up for lack of communication. So in a case where your name shows up with 7s in it, like Raquel's full legal name shows up with 7s in it, or at least at birth, or Angel had a vibration of 7 as a birth month. Even Maria and Vivi show up with a 7 as well too. There is a sensation of not as communicative as I want to be. And it's interesting because obviously we know Vivi, she's really very social, very bubbly energy, going to say a lot. But on the other end of this, there's something she's not saying. And there's the same set of feeling what we saw inside of Marie, same thing we saw inside of my name. Sometimes I'm not having the best day. And I don't tell people. I just go out there and do the job and perform. And I'm happy to bless to say that I'm having a great day today. But sometimes when I'm out there doing my job or doing my work, I'm not broadcasting certain parts of what I'm dealing with on the inside because it's not about me. And so that feeling shows up. And here's the challenge. When we see the reds in Tirsa Ramos or Angel Williams or Kristen Vincent, it's got a lack of expression towards wealth. It's sitting there hiding in between the numbers 6 and 8. This is non-communicative, non-conductive for verbal or expressive communication. This is danger, especially to an entrepreneur. It's like, here you go, wait. And then you take away the wand, you take away the magic, you take away all of the ability to say anything. Okay, now go and create your success. It's difficult because the 7 will know what to do, but it won't be able to communicate it and express it. And that can be a challenging space. So we've come up with letters. I'm going to create vibration of communication for everyone here. So we will come up with it. It's going to be something we either use because You know, Tanji's still using it. Vivi's still using it. I'm still using a 7. Wouldn't you like it if business came to you and you didn't have to go out there and be like, knock, 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 right? And that's like, you know, that feeling of going out there and trying to figure, like, it's better if you just be, and someone wants to partner up with you, and they love your energy and they're attracted to you. So it's a wonderful thing to have that working for you. But if it's in the wrong direction, it's not expressing anything, and it's basically muted. And in today's day and age, if you're muted, you know, you only got 5 seconds before you lose someone, and next thing you know, they're on to something else. So we want to make sure that your vibrations are all expressing outward. This is one of the biggest challenges we have in business, okay? So we take a look to the next number, and really, this is like the king or the queen. I'd say king because that's a masculine number. Granddaddy vibration of all. This is the magical code of abundance and infinity, okay? Like never ending. We have an infinity symbol turned sideways. The cyclical nature of the 8 is like a universal or spiritual battery or generator, okay? With energy like the 8, you'll notice everyone in purple's got it, or green has got one. The power to speak wealth into existence. This is like, this is huge, guys. Like, you know, they say law of attraction and your words become things, and we've done what the bleep do we know, and we started to journey down this path, but the way that it's been given to us is misdirected. It's not the same technology of what it actually is. Now we're getting into things like Joe Dispenza and brain and heart coherence, and you know, feeling nostalgia for your future thoughts, and thought particles go past and forward through time, and there's so many weird things in the quantum world that it's just so, and they've shown it to us, but we still don't understand it. So it's perfect understanding that we're not ready, and we're still looking at this stuff like it's a spiritual concept. We're still looking at it being like, if you gratitude journal, and if you do it, you believe it, and the universe and the vortex, and Abraham Hicks told me, and this I love Abraham Hicks, by the way. But the reality is that this is a scientifically proven model that we are magnetic broadcasters of vibration, and we have to be extraordinarily exquisite about the way that we talk to ourselves, the way we talk to other people, the way that we talk to our wealth, the way we talk to our challenges and our problems, and the parts of us that don't show up. This is the chiseled key that can get through any freaking door. And that can be like doors you shouldn't even open sometimes, places where there is a door. You can use this information and it can be very evil. So I would appreciate that you guys all just take a nice, huge, loving breath to understand that you are not evil. So this is like, this isn't for you to think you're going to do something bad with it, but to know that you're going to do something amazing and powerful. Welcome to your wizard's upgrade. This is what we're going to do with your names today, because the reds are like, it's sharp. We need that royal color. We need that mastery color. We need that black ninja code number that's going to take us to the next legacy, because, we're doing this. And I want one day to you guys to look back and be like, you know what? I remember taking that shift in my name, and suddenly the weather changed, and I was somewhere else, and now I'm in a completely new space, and this is that wizard energy. So it's no longer about, because we look at graduating now, the wealth conversation. It's no longer about working for money and working to pay the bills. It's about having good debt and creating wealth and using other people's money and creating power for people, with people, and speaking that into others as a leader and a true actioneer for, you're really driving your business. You're flying your business now. Your money works for you, and it's a commodity. It's no longer like the real asset is people, and the real asset is your organization. Your money just becomes another part of the puzzle, and it's unreal, because this is a machine mechanism where $1 equals $2. Like, who doesn't want that? Like, I'll take that any day of the week. So to know that we're really moving into this vibration, and if we're looking at the spice of life here, like, look how many times that shows up. One out of how many different options on opportunities. That's what life is. You see that 80-20 rule everywhere. Or like 1 out of 10 businesses survive because there's a vibration for it, and you have to fine tune yourself into it. This is what we're going to do today. So we come to the third, or the last number in the third view here, right? We're looking at the mastery version of a female number. This is the universal spirit. This is like consciousness, existence, the planet, humanitarian, philanthropy, caring about others, plants and animals, and everything in between, and people, and the past and the future, other people's families. It's very altruistic. It's very existential. It's extraordinarily caring and loving of others. The heart has gone too big, because before it was talking about me, and then it was talking about what I do, and then it's talking about the rest of the cosmos, or those around me. So there's my inner field, there's my auric vibe, and then there's my cosmic sort of like distance. And the 9 transfers across the cosmic distance. So when we see this is Aaron. This is Aaron's birthday. This is Felicia's birth year, 1980. This shows up as the 18th of April. So there are visions and versions of some of you in here that are going to show up that have humanitarian or big level impact, or I want to do big things on this planet. There's a strong connection to the other, or to a really like a bigger audience that says that we're a part of a bigger family. So the more 9s you have in your chart, the more likely you're going to look at the planet in a strange perspective, wondering what's wrong with us. Why do we always fight? What's with all the wars? Why don't we just, help each other? Like, what the hell's wrong with it? We're ruining everything. And like, we're not taking care of Mother Gaia, and we're connected to that. And that you can hug a tree and really feel good about it, because that 9 shows as you are a piece of the planet. But with that, on the negative side, that sounds pretty good, right? The negative side is how diminished you are as an individual, and how absorbent you are of everyone else's energy. That's like dangerous, because then the 9 energy starts to identify with someone else's problem and someone else's existence. And then we walk around like it's us. And I have 9s in my chart too, because this is what we are. We're humans. And it's in the simple example is when your kid really gets on your nerves, and it wasn't a good day, and mommy didn't make it. And she was like, she got real upset, she got real angry, and like she took on the frustration of the little one. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Can you imagine being in a situation where you're like, hey, it's kids, they do that. The last thing you need to do, with all the stuff you're going through, is take that on. And sometimes it's easier said than done, right? We're like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I could manage my emotions so much. I don't want to have to just, or like, your spouse had a really shitty day at work, and then they came home and fucked your day up. And you're like, oh, what the hell? I was having a good day. And then you just come in here with all this, and now next thing you know, I'm pissed off, and I need a bath, and don't talk to me. And again, it rubs off on people. So we have to be very focused on understanding that 9 energy is it's the most powerful thing you have in numerology, because it's an invisible number. It stands for both the singularity and the void. So when we see it, we see all things, and we also see nothing. It's a very difficult concept to express. Then we have another set of numbers in the mastery, which go into the angelic. And this extends multiple lifetimes. This extends, multiple generations. You're here on a soul, vision, mission, purpose, duty. You also have to go through a lot more than the average person when you experience numbers like these. I see we've got 22 energy inside of us as well, but it doesn't stop there. Like Marie Cloud's got double 3 energy. Raquel has double 7 energy. We see this sort of show up in our charts, double 2 energy. So we see mastery numerology, like inside of Kristen's chart, it's triple 2. So we see all of this stuff really shows up. It's really powerful to learn into that. But if you've got mastery in your chart, you can at least be like, oh, no wonder life is so weird and tough, and there's so many crazy looking challenges. It's because you're here to do something big. So just pay attention to it. The 11 is the same thing as the 2. It's about partnership. But now I got to deal with my spirit partners, like my angels, and I'm also entrusted by partnering up with people like yourselves to help you guys get to a better place. I channel the message, and it comes through, and we all work together. As for the 22, instead of just being a 4 that says, I'm going to work really hard, now it says, I want to build something of exquisite importance and magnitude, and it's like this big vision, and I keep eating it at my mind because the 4 is going to be stubborn and limited, but the 22 is like this engineer aspect. So we see how these concepts are the same, but now they get very much bigger. So very cool. What I want to do is I want to catch up with you guys. So if there's any questions, if there's any comments or anything that I said there that we want to expand on, what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears and we're going to start lining you guys up. This is where we need your, I know it can get tough to hear a lot of this stuff because it becomes a lot to take, but just know that your Care Bear stare right now is like really helping the person we're talking about process their energy that they may not have been able to process even till now. And we're all 80s, 70s, or 60s babies. Okay, so we're really like, there's no 90s babies here. So we're all between what is that, like hippies and the 80s, or like, like Miami Vice. So we're all kind of in between that era. Okay, so we're really like, we want to make sure that we're supporting each other through this, and your energy is being borrowed to do this. So I appreciate you guys for being a part of this, because some of this stuff we're dealing with, like if I go into Angel's chart, we're going to do that. Any one of you may be dealing with the same thing she's got going on, and it may not be surfacing in this conversation. And if in case that's the case, I would absolutely recommend, as I would hope that all of you, 4 of you would recommend, that you should work with me privately one-on-one, that we should go into your chart, because there are certain things we're not going to see today. And to know that that is there, it's a good idea to pay attention to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly grab some water because I forgot it upstairs. And I'm going to come back, and then what we'll do is we'll continue onward. And at the same time, if anybody has questions, put them in the chat, write them out, or get ready, and we'll do a small little what's your takeaway. And if what I hope is that everybody says at least something. So if you have nothing to say, you can just say, Bobby, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing ever. You're such a God, to gift to all of us. I'm just kidding. If you've got nothing to say, then just that's fine. Maybe you're just taking it all in, and that's cool too. But we'll be back in about 2 minutes, and I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome back. So what we're going to do now is I'd love to hear a bit of feedback. I'm going to put this back on the screen. And what I want to know is either, is there a question? Did I not explain this properly? Is this information overload? Are you kind of wondering or thinking to yourself, how does this affect me? Or was there a really powerful insight that you got from learning about what these numbers show up? And what we'll do is we'll just go one at a time. So I'll go from front to bottom, or how it shows up on my screen. The first person I've got is Tanji. Didn't see 9s in my chart. I thought I saw 9s in your chart. But Tanji, if you want to unmute yourself. Yeah, you've got 9s in your chart. Yeah, it shows up inside in a very powerful way. Angelica and Vivi, right? So they're both real, like they're in a strong space. But when you put them together, it makes it even more powerful. Hey.
Hi. I just want to make sure I'm not echoing. Okay, good.
No.
Good to see you too. Yay.
I appreciate so much the words and the energy that you put into our experience. Like, you have no idea. It's an honor and such a blessing to serve you. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. It's an honor for you to do our numbers and take the time to do all of us here in this space. The aha moment, oh my God, I was like, holy crap, you just described me on my way home from driving with my son. About the 9, like the negative side is how I absorb other people's energy. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. Like, I'll be in a good mood and everything, and I'll see someone else, but I do my best to like work through my own stuff and realize, okay, that's my own trigger. That's my own stuff I have to work through. But that was just an aha moment. I was like, when you were describing that example, I'm like, yeah, that was me.
That's awesome. I'd say based on your chart and based on knowing you, you're totally worth it, even though that energy may come out and you may feel like it gets the best of you. That's not what ruins your quality. It's just it's the hardest thing to deal with, because we're taking on other people's energy. But now that you know it, and that feeling is like, oh my God, and I can even feel it myself when I say it, it's like that will never hold the same amount of power over you again, because at least now we understand that you're in this. Like this happens, this 9 shows up in your chart until 55, and you're not like, you're in a space where, like you're still absorbing a lot of that energy. So it's nice to know that you're healing people through that. And that can be a nice sort of off put to think, oh, well, at least I know that I'm serving the planet with that type of energy, right?
Right. Thank you for
You're very
that.
welcome. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
I
Cool.
had a question. Are we supposed to ask questions about our names after?
Sure. Well, we're gonna go through them like name by name. But if you had a question specifically, I'd love to hear it. Or if I'll table it, then I'll table it because we'll come back to you.
Okay. It was just when we had our session the first time around, and you said Tangi's Enrica Veloso. You said Tangi's Enrica on its own. I think it was like an 898, and you said that one was really going to bring in or 988. I'm looking 898, and that one's going to bring in a lot of wealth, like a lot. But for now, I chose to have Veloso because of my passion with parenting and conscious parenting. So I'm just trying to figure out like how long do I continue to keep Tangi's Enrica Veloso before I transition to Tangi's Enrica.
There's 2 different strategies. So it's not clear cut. I can't just tell you because this is your life. So the best I can do is lovingly offer support through both of these. So the one side I'd say is that Tangi's Enrica will stand above and beyond in a different level for places outside of just your conscious parenting side of you. Whereas this one would be a lot more powerful for an interface towards children, towards parents, towards community, towards family. So if it's consistent on what you're doing right now, then I would say that you're picking a better number for this. But eventually, knowing what you are, knowing what you're going through, you'll most likely find yourself in spaces where you may need to come up with Tangi's Enrica LLC or do a Tangi's Enrica, like, because in my case, my name, Balwan Francisco, is the same. It's an 898. But when I use my name on Facebook, Bobby F. Perihar, I use an 876. So I literally have both of these as well. So the other strategy is to say, this is me on the front and this is me on the top. This is where my wealth goes through and this is where my brand comes through. So if you want to go out there and start talking to multi-level billionaires, millionaires, and change the world on a huge level, then you've got to put away certain things about the conscious parenting that make you involved and now take it to the next bigger scale. And if you're like, yeah, but I'm not done doing that yet, then you're like, well, that Aaron tells the question, when do I change it? Either when you're done or you never change it or you employ both now. But hopefully that's as clear as mud, because I know that it can be kind of like, what am I supposed to do? I'd say follow, because of course you've got the 7s like nicely in your chart. You would want to follow your intuition and follow your gut little meter that just says it's time, and you'll know that whisper comes in. Yeah, but I wonder if we didn't do your cycle years. So 7, 8, 9. So maybe it might be in a year or 2. Might be sooner. Might be next year. I can feel that, like, it's hard to tell because of where you're at right now. So but depending on how you're feeling about it.
Okay, thank you. I really
Cool.
appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate you too. Okay, so how about Vivi, if you want to unmute yourself and you're next up. How's it going?
Hi. Okay, so that made sense about the 9 also. And I know I'm so empathic that I take on energy and I don't even realize it's not even my energy and I forget to ask.
Yeah, that's fine. And because the 1 is like, no questions, just keep going, right? And the 6 is like, I'll take care of you. And I'm absorbed, and people are going to be there, and you're very maternal and loving in that regard. Also, you're good at it, and so it's very difficult because it's up to you, right? So you'll own all of it, and then when we saw the 6s are very empathic as well that way too, very absorbent.
Oh, here. Also, it says the 8s, and I see it sometimes, like, because I've actually been using Vivi Angelica for a while, but not just, I just dropped the Veloso because you said it was more powerful.
Yep.
But I am feeling more coming into my own, but I'm still like feeling like I'm reaching out to people. And like I just started the magic group again today, and I was posting in groups, but I felt good about doing it, but nobody was there. So I feel like I'm keeping myself accountable, but I'm still not feeling the magic of my name yet.
Okay, well, wherever you need to be using it, I mean, realistically, the more you drive it, the more comfortable you get. And, you know, the more comfortable and proficient and confident you get in your vibration, the more prepared you are for opportunity when it comes, right? So like you can prepare for the weather. That's what we really want to do, and make sure that you know that when your time comes or when your audience starts to show up, that you show up as an authority. And so that means that you're posting in groups, you're posting on your page, that every time you interact with your social media, people are going to see Vivi and Halika, and then they look and they see, hey, there's an inspiring piece of motivation here. And so whenever you start to show up, the more you show up, the more friends you create, the more power. Like I'd say even like a small little quick hack is engagement. You go into these groups where posts are already, and you start talking and communicating and chatting, and you be this little social butterfly around comments and posts, and that really starts to build an experience around you, and people then want to take a look further and further and further. That's where it would be. If nobody's watching your post right now, consider it target practice. You're just really getting good at communicating, the skill of posting and the skill of getting your voice out there. It'll grow. You keep on doing that, and it'll start to make a ripple effect and a vibration of it. But if you're trying to say, well, where's all the people at? It could just be that, you know, you need to put your camera a couple degrees to the left or to the right and start looking and thinking, if nobody's on the post, where is everyone posting? Okay, now I'm going to go comment with them. And then, you know, you could try some other stuff. So cool little tangent there. But the feeling into the new name, I'd like to think it starts to show up everywhere. And this is for everyone really. The places that names show up for people are all different. Like we don't need to have the same name for everything, but if there are certain pieces of this that you use, they should be very noted that you would want to make sure that this name is going to be lined up. This is so far running list. Okay, so just in case any of you guys wanted, we're recording the replay. You can take a screenshot. You can screenshot it if you need, or maybe I'll screenshot it into the chat so that you guys all have it. But knowing this is important, because this is where we show up for life. And if you got some, you're like, hey, Bobby, what about and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So then maybe I should put that up there too. So like I was just thinking, what about your gym membership? If you don't have if you have a number on your gym membership or a name that says, I'm too lazy, I really don't need to go to the gym, then you never going to use it. But I got to have one that looks like I'm in like the army or something. That makes sure it's good in there. So, hey, Raquel, wow, you're awesome. Look at that. She's sent a screenshot into the chat. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So thank you, Vivi. I appreciate you for the comments there. Aaron says, how are the even numbers positive and the odd numbers negative? And is it different when the number is in a different position? So, you know, the way I'd say even, if you were to measure shapes, you know, if you were to balance something on a single point, it would usually try to fall over at some point because it doesn't have a balance to it. If you balance it from side to side, now suddenly there's more balance on there. A triangle, depending on how it looks, because as you say, is it different when the number's in a different position? If it's in one position, it's not balanced because it'll fall over. In another position, it is balanced. So depending on your perspective. We look at a 4, doesn't matter how you look at it. The 4 sides of the square are going to be even. It's balanced. It's going to be sitting there. It's going to be sitting. And then you see a 5, it's going to be wobbly again because it's not of even vibration. It's got one leg missing. The 6 shows up as very balanced, and then the 7 shows up as sort of the essence of balance, right? So it's not like it needs to be. It's more like it doesn't want to do anything. So when it doesn't want to communicate, it will show up imbalanced, but it's communicating on a bigger level. So the vibration of all of these different shapes show up, and whether it's good or bad, we're not talking about that. We're talking about whether it's conductive or chaotic. Does it cooperate, or is it constructive, or does it destroy or move into a new Does it move into anxiety or ambition or freedom or spontaneity, or is it predictable? Is it reliable? Is it systematic? Is it the same thing, the same process? Or when you look back again, is it something different? That's chaos. So when we have the 3, it's like, let's just do whatever. The 5 says, let's just travel wherever. The 7 says, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm already everywhere. And the 9 says, I want to go and help everyone. Whereas the 2 says, let's do this together. The 4 says, take care of it. The 6 says, I am going to be irresponsible. I got kids coming. And the 8 says, we're generating wealth for others. So you get a sense of idea that these different numbers are going to weave in and out of profitability and opportunity. And the opportunity to learn, it grows you. So awesome concept. I appreciate that. But depending on the chart and depending on the way they show up, some numbers, just because they've got a 4 in them, don't make them powerful. Or just because they've got an 8 in them doesn't mean you use them. Because this one, it definitely gets to 8. But if it's too tough and too hard, there's a reason why it's not available on my chart. I don't put a 448 because the number will still work. But is that what you want? Do you just want to work? We're like entrepreneurs. We're like, they told me that this thing would sell itself and that everyone would be just lining up to buy it. That's called residual income. And that does exist. But you got to be this type of like, bring it in type of energy. That's like really magnetic. You can't do that at the 4 level because the 4 is like, I'm going to run this myself. I'm going to do this myself. So very interesting, super powerful. Thank you, Aaron, for that comment. Let's keep moving. So how about Tersa? If you want to unmute yourself and let me know, what are we thinking? How are we feeling? How did you like this so far? And if there's any questions at all.
I feel like I have a lot of questions, but I was wondering because are we only looking like at the birthday and the life path, or are we also looking at the business name numbers?
See, the business name numbers are going to be here in blue, and this is your second round. So for you, I only have one name. So if you've got a business name, do you have something you're using separately?
No, I don't. I'm just wondering what numbers I should be looking at because I have like 2 8s and I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. Or I didn't know to look at the 2 7s in my year. Like I wasn't sure which numbers to look at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. If we're talking about wealth and you guys are promoting your businesses out there and people are seeing you on business cards and fan pages and ads and videos and story posts and whatever it is that you're showing, if this thing doesn't give them the feeling of a wealth vibration, you've missed it. You're not getting where you need to go. So we need to make sure, especially when this has double 8s, that it doesn't end in a non-communicative number. This is very frustrating because you're extraordinarily smart. And then the 7's like, yeah, I know, right? How come nobody else? I can't figure out how to say it. And it just doesn't want to communicate it outwardly. But then the 8 is extremely, almost painfully intelligent. Like it's just very much the hyper level of intelligence without the ability to express itself. It's like the wizard getting ready for the wizard thing and then can't find his wand and he's just spinning around his house trying to find his wand and he wants to go out there and perform his magic. And the 7 is like, you're not going to find it. It's in a different dimension and the communication's not coming back out. But the 8's like, I got the solution. I got the business mind. I can do this, all this stuff, but I just can't find my wallet. I don't know where it is. I don't know where did I leave it? And that misplace can be one of the most challenging things we deal with. Because on the other side, Raquel Hugo has the double 8s in the positive, or Marie Claude Menard has a double 8s now in the positive, where we see that vibration saying, I want to express massive levels of wealth upon the world. So yeah, hopefully that kind of explains it. We'll go through it, but there's a few, because there's Tersa's room, Yvonne's room, Ramos' room, Vala's room. You have all of these different individual rooms of pockets of vibration that are showing up, and then this is the one that people see. So if you've got cool looking vibes that are showing up in here, then they can be challenged because this is the one that doesn't say what it's truly needing to say, where we're going to fix this too. So we'll put something cool in there.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, cool. And let's go down to Raquel. So Raquel, if you want to unmute yourself, great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, welcome back. You were on a retreat.
I was, land sanctuary. I run away as much as I can to work on various I was working on toilets, so it was really fun, but makes retreats possible. Um, I I guess I'm curious about some of the master numbers, and just because in my birth name and then my name now, I go from 77 to 88, and I'm Mayan, and I do Mayan Tree of Life, which is a different numerology system essentially. And my brain just wants to like tell a story the way that I know it in my way, and I'm just curious about how master numbers show up, and does it even matter if it's uh, just some of the other things you've said? It's not even necessarily that the numbers are together, but or next to each other, but together in a total. I don't know if that spurs just some kind of response that isn't even the answer to this question, but I just trust that whatever I'm sharing will get something juicy back. So thank you so much.
Oh,
Really.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the power of double numbers, and then when we see the ones that are linked with a 9, because the 9 is the universal concept of mastery, and then the second number repeats. So the way that we look at this, we see a conversation that looks like the vowel, the consonant, and then the total. So this is Pythagorean numerology, right? So when I look at Raquel Francis Almeida, I see the 9 is just the A, the U, the E, the A, the I, the O, the E, the A. And then the 7 shows up as all of the consonants. So we've kind of split the name apart, and then we put the 2 back together. 9 plus 7 equals 16, and 1 plus 6 is 7. That's why the 9 is invisible. It's the mastery number, because it literally repeats onward forever. So when we see it inside of like a definition, you were born here, and then you take one switch up here. So like it's almost non-human, because this is very close to the master, very close to the universal spirit. So you having a generational lineage to your spirituality, going and doing indigenous, like feeling even integrative indigenous, and that feeling of you being on like out of the grid back into it, is it goes generationally deep. And it's an interesting thing to be able to see that. So there's a lot to uncover there. And it really goes to tell this with everyone, not all of us are going to have been born and operate at the high top end level, the end of there's a high destiny here to do some extraordinary things on the planet, especially if you already have this without meeting me. This is you. We look to uncover this story and let you know, well, at this area, you would become very powerful spiritually, and then extremely important globally, like in however that's going to look. And so those kind of concepts start to come in and tell us a story about you. And, we could move it around further and say, well, I have my own take on this. This is what I want to look like. And, really put that on top. But there's a part of you inside of here. We see even again, the double ones. These are all leadership numbers. And then this is a spiritual number. So if you're planning on leading, then this will be in regards to something deeper, like a mystical feel. And it's going to be going depth like outside of lifetimes to get it. But you got the vision and the clarity and the ego to say, this is me, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm holding this vessel. I'm holding this vibration. And that should be a very powerful experience, because it'll never look like your ego. It'll just look like the confidence of who you are. So it's nice because we're kind of reading your chart, and doing what we're about to do. But that's a little bit of a sort of a teaser as to what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. But I'm excited because you got a very powerful looking chart, and like you're like a naturally born master, and that can be difficult on a planet because here we're here to do stuff. But I'm glad that you've taken the call, because the fact that you show up like this means you're supposed to do something fairly extraordinary in this world. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. So let's continue moving forward. How about, let's see, I have Vinita. Vinita, oh my gosh, we just got a chance to connect it was just yesterday. And at this point, I was like, okay, there's something powerful about you all. And it was a pleasure to connect with you. How are you liking this so far?
It's been amazing. I don't know what happened. Like I just through the discussion, it was like a switch flipped, And suddenly, like, I felt confident to step into a power that I'd been holding myself back from. So it's been pretty amazing. I think it was really interesting to hear you go through all the numbers and talk about how they can have the positive and negative qualities. I'm curious, so is it that even though, because it ends in a positive number, that, like, for example, like a 5 can have a positive or a negative quality. So does that mean that you can cycle between those two qualities, or is it always in the positive reflection of it based on like how the numbers play out?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a set of probabilities, because if you got a lot of really good numbers, you can probably afford some that are not going to work all the time, every single time. And, it depends on what day it is and and that you can, like, the way I say it is that you can have the best outfit, but someone could still run their car in front and splash you on, like, you have no control of what someone else is going to be doing as well too. So we don't know when it's going to catch us off guard. We don't know when the vibration's not going to work for us. All we want to know is that it's there, so that we can take each moment, the best that we can, and like really step its power in there. But I like to think that, on a good day, I can take advantage of some of my negative numbers. And that just means that I conquer that challenge. But if you don't know that it's there, it's like having all of your stuff mixed and messed up in your house. You don't know where anything is. But at least there's a bit of a wobble to this vibration. I have to time it just right, because Bobby will give all of his energy out to everyone else and then get really frustrated when he's not having his needs met. It's because he didn't do what's right for himself. So if I can really understand that part of me, next thing you know, I'm going to be a little bit more patient while I'm giving my energy out. I'm not going to be so negative and difficult to myself, because I'm going to recognize this is just something that I do. And I know that this is a part of me. So I'm not going to beat myself up over it. And that was one of the then that you've conquered the warrior within. So yeah, I know it's it's not easy, but it's very interesting how it works. I'd say the more practice you have knowing yourself, the better that it is. But cool question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. So it's more of like a recognition, it sounds like, and learning how to work with yourself in those ways. Because from what I remember from our session, it's like, when you talk about numbers hiding, it's like the fact that like everything gets reduced to these numbers. So like my name, first name alone will have its own numbers that are associated with it. So there's obviously things that are going to be hiding throughout, that we don't necessarily know, I guess, because there's so much detail in the work.
Well, let's
So
let's look at it this way, because that brings a really good point, right? So you're gonna go through life, and like you got a toolbox, and the toolbox has got all these cool little vibes in it, and then you open the door, and then you're like, oh, I don't have the tool for this. Or you can say, oh, no worries, I got the tool for this. And you can go and you can basically pull the right tool and get it in, and you're patient. And like my wife, she's doing my web design stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like trying to click this thing. And I'm like, I feel like I've lost it. And I'm just like frustrated at my computer. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I just given up. And then my wife's just like, here. And then she starts clicking away, and she does it. And I'm looking at her like with this crazy feeling, like she knows what to do. And she's cool and calm about it. And I don't know. So there's the same thing where we see a vibration that says, oh, I know how to read the book. If you didn't have that, and this opened this year, says pick up a book and read it, that anxiety that Bobby had dealing with his web stuff could show up, and you'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, because I don't know how to read books, and that means I'm not going to be successful, and I've got to break through that. And so there's a really solid opportunity to see that in yourself, but you've got to know that you've got tools for every single piece that shows up. Some of them, especially like, let's say we're going to pick on your chart for a second, the inner sides of this where the sixes didn't show up good. There was inside a piece that lacked in the self-love or self-awareness or taking care of the self, because it was too busy working hard and taking care of everyone else and serving everyone else and keeping the show running, that the negative sixes of lack of self-worth were kind of like trapped on the inside, like a fire that had no way of getting out. It was just burning inside. So that same concept shows up. The thing, of course, is going to cycle through because other parts of you show up with good-looking, loving numbers, and then some parts are saying it's cold. I can't feel it. I'm not in it. So to go through it, and the more that you can, I say awareness is the best defense, and to know what you're dealing with is the best thing. So a very powerful question, though.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Vivi says, 898 is positive. How come it's black where it says severe challenge? Because the vibration of mastery numbers will cost you. They are the very tall end. There is a progress of learning about the self. This is the ego and this is the universe. And throughout the story and the journey, it's growing, increasing. It has kids and family, gets the job, retires, gives its wealth away, and goes back into the planet. And so the same thing is that when you pick numbers that are up here, you'll miss out on stuff that's fun and enjoyable. And maybe I just want to have a family, or I want to spend time with my kids. And it's not going to focus there. It's going to focus on, I got to give up that stuff because I want to, shift and change the world. Many people are like, of course, I want to make millions of dollars. I want millions of dollars. I want millions of dollars. But then they don't realize what type of a mindset it takes. So it can be a severe challenge to run off the cliff and realize that you've got to soar and fly and think like a millionaire, because we're stuck on this, put in 8 hours, we get 8 hours worth of pay. And, unless you're second or third generation entrepreneur, it's most likely the world you were raised in. And that can bring challenge because family will be like, just go get a job and be safe. Why you got to go try to be the boss? And there's only one boss and you're not the boss. That's Mr. Walmart, or that's Mr. Whatever, like the brand name, right? And that's where we go into this stuff. So you guys want to live and operate here. It can be an extreme, like ripping apart of everything before you remagnetize. It's like disintegrating into spirit, and you have to come back at a higher vibration where that the things that you say are powerful. And that's why when Marie and I were working together, she's like, this one's a little tough right now. Maybe I might just take this one for now, and then I'll grow into this one. I'm like, you're such a genius. That's exactly what you need to do, because that's the easy thing, is that you take the easy one first, and then you ease yourself in to the higher level vibration that's going to change the world. Because if it means you're going to do it now, do you have the mindset, skill set, and the like all of this stuff? We were talking about it. Do you already operate as one of the world class? Or are you still working on yourself, wondering if you can make it or not? If you wonder if you can make it or not, it's probably not a good idea to hand you a loaded spiritual mechanism that says whatever you say is going to happen. You're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, bing. And then a lot of uncertainty enters your life, because it's like, no, I didn't mean that. And then bing. And they're like, oh, I got to stop doing that. And like, bing. Like every time you say something, you're putting on a code that's basically showing whether you're in confidence or you're incompetent. So when you have a vibration like this, there is no test. This isn't just a walk in the park. This is Olympic level energy. So it really shows up like mastery vibration. And I have one. I know that Tanji's got one too. So, to have it in your chart, and Vivi's is this number as well. So we know that we're dealing with mastery energy here, and it shows up naturally for you guys. That means that I'm not like, as opposed to just maybe just Marie Claude Menard with our new vibration shift. But other than that, this is a naturally occurring experience inside of your charts. And I'm willing to bet that, it's somewhere inside of Felicia Christina or Aaron Lee or Kristen Lee or inside of Ramos or Yvonne. Like, it's hiding in there that these other pieces are going to show up with mastery. So it's huge. Okay, so and Raquel says the word disintegration is the word my elders used to describe the process necessary for mastery. Huh? See what I'm saying? You want to take the road down to mastery, you listen to the shamans and the ancients and the people out there. Like there's a magic and there's a reason. I appreciate that validation. That feels so good to my soul right now. It feels like I'm really on the right path, because if I can interpret this properly, that means that I'm doing my job correctly. So there is a severe challenge. But some people are like, bring it. And they put the war paint on and they're like, we're going to win this thing. I like, and if that's what you want to live at in life, I will be here to support you through it. So no big deal. Okay, cool. So how about just making sure that I got you guys all. How about Aaron? Aaron, it's nice to meet you. I'm just going to unmute you if you want to give me a little bit of feedback as to what we've gone through so far. And maybe if you got any questions, I'll let you unmute yourself, or maybe just any comments.
Really, my question was with the numbering. Like I have odd numbers at the end of all three of my numbers. So, but then I have the even, I have the 6 in my name, Erin Lee Adler. So, but does that 6 with the 9, does that make it a positive or does that make it a negative?
Yeah, it's negative, right? And that's frustrating because your birthday's got a bunch of positive numbers in it. So let's just quickly pull these out because I know you got a positive inside of Lee. And then let's just take a look at Erin, and then we'll also take a look and we'll see where you're getting a little bit of help. So Erin is definitely showing up with an odd number. What about Adler? And let's try that one too. And there's an even number too. So you do have even and odd numbers. I wouldn't say that you're more even than odd. What I would say is that all your even numbers are hiding. They're not up front because the ones that show up either full or front facing are odd. So it's like just once, it's like it's even, it's odd, it's even, it's odd, and then it comes out and it's not even. You're like, oh no, come on, just need it to come out one more time, just one more time. And
like I'm there, but I'm not really there.
Well, when I looked at it,
I just need to be there.
Well, when I looked at it, we looked at this, and I'm like, well, Erin L. Adler. Sorry, it's Adler, right?
It is.
So Erin L. Adler. Now suddenly we're cooking, and you're back on the track, and this is your vibration, and you're like, oh, see, told you, and your numbers come back because that's your name. So we could come up with some other ones. There are more. But cool, interesting piece there. We'll come to this in a second when we come back around. But any other comments, questions, or anything else there?
No, I'm just trying to figure out because I did your little numerology thingy, and even with Erin Lee, it comes out 685. So I still have a negative.
Yeah, we're gonna essentially Erin Lee A would come up as 6786. So there's more, like one step further, and you're like, oh, I didn't think of putting my last letter letter into the mix, but it would even it out again. So it's like, oh man, you're so close. And
it's I'm just like I want it.
Yeah, of course you do. I can imagine how frustrating this must seem.
It is. I'm looking at my numbers going, I quit.
Oh, come on, where is it? And then if I'm like, just try one more, and then you're like, boom, we find it. And then it's like, and that's what we do together. So I'm so blessed because Erin, you're gonna have a lot of fun with what we do, and it's gonna be good. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, cool. Any other comments, questions? All right, let's keep moving forward then. And I think what I want to do is I'll call out. I'm just going from top to bottom. Angel, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. It's good. This is new for me, so it's a little bit confusing, but it's getting clearer as more people are talking about their numbers.
Cool.
But I did have a question.
What's the most confusing part? What's the most confusing part?
I think when we start talking about, the significance of even the balance, right? So I have in my number the 742. So I don't know if that's a balanced number or not a balanced number.
Right. See, like when we're looking at creating wealth or love, we want to see numbers in the maturity of wealth and the maturity of love and wealth, right? So these 6s and 8s are balancing out to higher level concepts of how do I express myself to the world? What do I do for others? So when we want to say, oh, those are the ones that I want, that's why I play with these numbers. Now, in order to get there, you can get there through small numbers, big numbers, they add up. But when these two add up to a small number, 7 plus 4 is 11, 1 plus 1 is 2, it goes back down to the 2 and it doesn't get a chance to express itself at higher levels of communication. It'll just sacrifice itself for others. And that can be a challenging vibration to deal with, right?
Yes, for sure.
Cool. So, and then you had it sounds like a light got turned on there.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said you had a question too?
About the 22.
Nice, yeah. What was the question? Did we lose you? Oh my God, I lost you right there. Yeah, she froze. Okay, so that was like it's like a cliffhanger. So she'll come back, and then we'll talk about the 22, and then cool. So what I'll do is I'm going to just read out Felicia's, and then when we'll come back, we'll come back to Angel when she comes back. So it says she should not be able to talk with the inside of the numbers. We'll get through them for sure. Hollywood Hills reception is really choppy, but thanks so much. Love to know the DMV and the FX saying God. What does that mean? So the vibrations, I've named them. I think I've got the thing unlocked. I'm pretty sure the meaning is not locked right now. But can you quarterback that one for me, Vivi? And I'm loving all the Super Bowl puns I've had today so far. But if you can quarterback this one for me, and then let me know if she can or can't get in, and then we'll get her back in. Okay. So the insight around your numbers, Felicia, we're gonna go through this in a second. I just want to get a little bit of feedback based on what you've learned so far. So I will come back for that. And the questions that you have about the DMX or the FX DMV, these are different opportunities you have to balance your name based on Felicia Quintero. So this is looking like putting a letter to this so that we can move this up. And in order to move it up to a 6 or an 8, I need a letter that looks like this, or that looks like this, the O. So there are ways to move your vibration up, but we'll go through it. And really, you want to really, and this is for everyone, like, consider that you're your higher self. Consider you from your future. Get in with your success and really feel into your soul and your gut and your diaphragm and your universal center, which is the one that calls you and that like that wants to be there. Like, which is that one that you're wanting to choose. I've just put them here just simply, but we can still dive in further and look a little bit, because Tanji didn't take one, okay? Vivi didn't take one, okay? And Vinita didn't have to take one. So and Marie took a different version of her name. So you don't necessarily have to take a letter if it's not your letter. We'll still find something here, okay? Cool. So Angel, you were going to ask about the 22. If you want to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that, Joe.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, so the 22 just jumped out, and then when you were saying that was a mastery number, and so I just wonder if you could just talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, the difficulty around the 22 is that it's got two numbers. So the 4 side says get to work and stop dreaming so big, and the 22 says, but I'm a big dreamer and I've got this big vision that I need to connect to. So you having the 7 and the 8 and the 22, this is indicative of a big vision chart. And I remember when I was reading what you wrote to me, and you're like, I called you a leader the other day. You're like, I haven't had that relationship or that connection. And I'm looking at your chart. I'm like, you're supposed to lead a lot of change and a lot of power, but it can feel like it doesn't get started. It can feel like it's being limited in its speed, because the 4s come in and say, she's just going to be running on the ground. I'm like, well, then what are you doing with wings? Why would you have a flight path if you're just going to be running around on the ground? And part of your name says, just run around on the ground. And the other part says, yeah, but you could fly. And then the name you're holding says neither. And it says, I'm just going to be in someone else's car, and I'm not going to be driving my own work. So there's a lot of potential, but you've got to sort of dust everything off and break and sort of like get all the wrong stuff out so that you can actually build the life of a leader, especially because, if you ask yourself and you really go into that true inner heart, I'm willing to bet that kind of tickles you when you experience the feeling of being powerful and stepping into leadership. There's something in there that's just like, man, that would be so cool, right? Wouldn't it? And that feeling wants to do it. And now's the time, because as you're in 1966, you'll be approaching the 55-year mark where this 22 steps into the front. This is it. This is where the builder mode of you wants to sit in. So this is like all of your actions have a long-term purpose that we can see that you're going to build something, or you want to, depending. I mean, of course, you came here for a reason. So I would say you're going to do at least something. Where it's up to you, whatever it is that you want, where you want to sit with. But I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Okay, and then how about, did I miss anyone? I just want to make sure. How about Marie? How are you, Marie? If you want to unmute yourself and then give us a little bit of your feedback, and then if you have any questions so far, how you feeling, first of all, after our session?
Well, I was overwhelmed. There was so many things going on in there, and I still have a few questions, but it's not on that chart. If you maybe want to scroll back down to our session, to what
Okay,
you.
sure. Yeah,
I know
let's
I've
take a
seen
look
it
at ours.
earlier. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I was wondering with my Laridana Papilio, what was the numbers? Can you explain me those numbers again? For
Which
my
ones?
penmanship.
Sorry.
Laridana, penmanship.
Uh,
Those numbers right there.
the one that's 628.
Yeah, and what can I do with the human center? Do I have to remove the "the" or what should I do with that?
Let's just quickly do this. What I want to do is we'll go through this if you guys are okay with this. I'm going to try just human center. Uh, a human center would work, okay, but it doesn't really sound. It doesn't feel like it's there. And you guys are also here, so anyone wants to go into the chat and help us by giving us what your 2 cents are. Okay, so if you guys can play the peanut gallery, this would be helpful because we're all here together to mastermind. So a human center, I guess would work. That's the one that would hold the power. So just in case that one shows up for you in English, and then in French you really wouldn't have to change it. It would, I say don't, but at least this way a human center shows up more powerful for vibration inside of there.
Can you send me this bit because I didn't receive it with my writings that we did. I received both of the written report, which is very lengthy. I didn't have time
I
to
will.
read it all.
Yeah, if you want, what I'll do. So you want me to send you this, or you want me to send you something about these names?
I want a copy of what we see in your Excel sheet. I want a copy of that.
Sure.
I like seeing that. It speaks to me loudly. It speaks to my four.
Of course, absolutely. I'll definitely do that for you, and then that way you can have a copy of it. And then it's good to have that. Okay, so I'll make sure I have it, and I'll send it your way. Cool. And yeah, anything else?
Quickly, why is it not good for me to use the big black one right now? Because I remember you said something about it's a bit too much right away from my 393, right?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that are in play here, especially for your specific situation. So I'll just pull this back up. One, your daughter operates with double eights right now. So you may have to think about this and think this might be an easier way to communicate or be in her energy. Also, it disconnects you from family. So on the other side, you could be like, shoot, but I need to be more connected to her. So really, it's one of those intuition things that you have to really pull into, which I would trust because you have the 7. But I would say that you have to really think about this and think, am I ready for that big, huge, massive shift? Or do I just want to tread lightly because I have got other people to, like this one is like throwing a bomb in the middle of everything. And you're like, let's just disintegrate and then we'll materialize again in a power. That could be a challenging experience to blow up. And that feeling is like frustration and things that have been bugging you and holding you down and deep pains from your past, and relationships can sort of expand and go off into their own direction. And a lot of the stuff that we tie our life together can now just basically blah, and then next thing you know, it's in pieces. And then you have to pick things back up again, and you have to put them back together again. So it's generally a really big, powerful process. But
so the first one for a couple of years, so I get adjusted to the new vibration, and then the new one when I'm ready for it.
That feels safer. Some people are like, no, I'm going to take it right now. Like Raquel, like when I go with your vibration, either you step into this or we bring you back down a second, and you basically take a halfway step. Be like, for some people don't have a choice. So if you have a choice, you get a chance to say, you know what, let me just ease into this because there's so much on the line. And for me, if I was in a situation like yours, I would feel like easing into it. It's a bit safer. That's why I take this name and not Bobby Z or Bobby H or Bobby Q, which would push me up to the very top. So I know that there's something in there for me to speak into in one area in my life but that's why I'm sitting on it. I have Balwan Francisco, and that's my other name. That's my full name. So I have that, and it's sitting right here already. So I know that one day I'll be operating at that level, but not a bad move to slowly turn it up instead of just cranking it full and then dealing with that. Like you wouldn't do that in a car. You would sort of like ease into the accelerator.
One last question. You mentioned the 33, which I'm not quite familiar with it, and you said that I had a double threes everywhere. So what does that mean for me exactly?
In this case, when we take a look at mastery numerology, we're taking a look at a reflection of its original counterpart. So the 11 becomes a 2, right? Because that's how the 11 show 1 plus 1. The 22 becomes a 4, and then we have the 33, which becomes the 6. These are master artists or master teachers or master creators. So when we see people like this, we see those who are they're feeling very distinguished or very achieved or very, like in your case, it shows up for you. It's going to show up for Tersa as well, but it'll take you both your whole lives, Vivi as well, to achieve that, because this is 20 up to 27, up to 55, and then up to your final days. So you have 3 stages to get through before you can realize the double 3. You have to get from one end of the rink to the other end before it starts to take hold in your life specifically. But the mastery version is the more difficult version of just a family. Now it has to be a visionary, or not just a business owner, but now it has to be an absolute engineer as well. Or then when we get into the double numbers on the other side, it goes like this: 551, which is like master warrior, or fights itself. Or then we get into the 663, which is the gives and gives and gives, the master of giving, and then it doesn't take care of itself. So the 775 shows up as the one who's quiet, and then blows up underneath. And someone has this in their name, where their name is just 775, the first name, and it's like very quiet, and then frustrated underneath. Then we have what Tersa was dealing with. I think it might even be Tersa was dealing with that. The 887, which is like 8 plus 8 is 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. We get this vibration of master power, but no outlet. So it goes from these are good to these ones are challenging. And we see them inside of charts everywhere. And then, of course, we have the 999, which is like the ultimate challenge of all things. It's not even human. And sometimes someone shows up with a number that says 999. And it can be very difficult to identify yourself with energy like that. Mastery numerology is huge. For those of you guys who are really into this stuff, I teach it. And by the end of this month, we're going to do this for like 5 days. And we're going to go in for like 12 hours. But I get lost in this stuff. So it's going to be very powerful. So keep your ears tuned for that. But does that answer the question, Marie? Hopefully it does. If you're with me, you're with me. Okay, good. Yeah, I see it there.
I'm still here. I just said yeah because he came in with the dog, so I muted myself.
I appreciate you.
I'm no longer home, so I
appreciate you. Okay, cool. And so
thank you for everything. It was very wonderful having a one-on-one with you. And if anyone is dating, go for it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So as we go through this, and we have Kristen. Kristen, I'm not sure if you're with us or if you want to unmute. If you are, I'd love to. You say you're back, okay? So if you want to let me know a little bit of your feedback so far before we get into the next round. I'd love to hear that. I'm not sure if you can unmute yourself. If you can, you can. If not, then we'll let you on the side. You may not be too. It won't let me. Okay, let me try. Let's see if I can unmute you. How about now? Can you try it? I've unmuted you, but depending on, yeah, you may have to give it permission. So it could be that you have to connect to the audio, or you can just chat if you want to. Okay, but if you can't interact, then that can get kind of weird, especially when I come back for you. So if you have to give it access, if you're on a phone, then your permissions or something to let the microphone acknowledge, because I've got you unmuted, but I still can't hear you either. And yeah, just let me know if you can figure it out. Or if you're on a laptop, if you're not and you're on a phone, then you'll have to give it permission somewhere to access the microphone. So, okay, what we'll do, we're going to go, and if I've forgotten anyone, just let me know. I think I got everybody. We're going to go back to the top. And what we're going to do now is we're going to line these numbers up. Now, this won't be the same as a private session because we're only looking at a fraction of your chart. But if you're severely dealing with something and it's like on the burning of your tongue, you have to ask it. By all means, we can go in. But we want to find something authentic and unique. And for the 4 of you at the bottom of the list, we don't need to do this again today, but I would really love it if you could support us through this process. And if you do have another thing you want to line up, now's the time. Okay, but we'll get to you as we go through. So first up, Angel. Angel, if you want to unmute yourself, or you maybe if you when you say something, you can unmute yourself. But I want to go over your chart, and we all share these numbers. So your story is going to really help other people as well, and to really make sense of themselves and you. But what we want to do is I'm just going to see if I can put you up here. Okay, so we've got 4 numbers that show up. This is your life path. And we did a little bit of this already in the group. But we want to see that leadership is a really big part of the game. So if it doesn't show up as outward social leadership, that I'm going to do something, or how it can just show up as independent or only to yourself. Like you're not going to feel, hey, Kristen, you're back. Sorry about that. Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear me? Hi.
I can hear you. Great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry, Angel, we're going to just pause you for a second. Kristen, do you have any comments, any questions, any cool feedback so far?
Yes, I'm kind of trying to absorb it, but like, what do I do with this information? How do I get aligned?
So we're going to line up your names that you can start using. And then as well, we're going to make sure that, you got resources as well too. One side of this is basically up until now has been theory understanding, so that you can really figure out that there are pieces that work that are in place. The next thing is application. So this is what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that these names end, or that your brands start to show up with a vibration of communication and a vibration of wealth. And it also has your flavor and your style. So we can go pretty cool. We can get interesting or crazy with it, or we can keep it super subtle, depending on how, you couldn't put a weird looking letter on my name, but some people are okay with it. So in case you are or are not, we're going to change your vibration around, and then you're going to decide how many different places are you going to take this? Where do you use this? Where are you supposed to be? Where are you going to be putting this? Is this going to be on top as a watermark on all your photos? When people see your brand, what's the emotion they evoke when you get to work with them? You get a chance to decide all that. So I'd say pick the ones that you're going to really love, and then start using them everywhere you need to, everywhere you possibly can. Sounds cool?
Yeah, and then can you explain my life path?
Yep, I'm going to do that as well too. We're going to go in depth in it right now. Simply put, the life path is this number for you. It's fun, it's sweet, it's loving, it's artistic, it's creative. This is the photographer, the artist, the sweetheart vibe. This is a very loving, caring, and you want to see good happen to other people. It's the same as your name, so it's nice to have that. And but at the same time, it also brings its own challenge, and you guys will see that for sure. But we will go into it in a little bit more depth as I get down to you and your name. Okay.
All right. What does orange mean? What highlighting all the names?
I highlighted orange so that I can see everyone who has a life path 3 and everyone who has a name path 3 at the same time. So that when we talk about your name, Tersa, Marie Cloud, Vanita, Felicia, it's going to be striking true to a lot of your vibration, because you guys all hold 3s, and I know who I'm talking to when I say that. So half of it's for my regard, but most of it's for the other sides for you guys. So I have to come up with different colors. It's a little confusing, but it works for me if it makes sense. So cool. All right, let's keep going.
All right, thanks.
So Angel Williams. Now this is a challenge, because this vibration here is not allowing you to access some of the more powerful levels of communication that are showing up in your chart, especially Angelique Kathleen Williams. This woman's got her head on straight. She's got it tied on properly. She's going to work hard. That 8 is going to have that feeling of I know what I'm doing, that level of intelligence, and then challenge doesn't scare me, and I can work hard to get something done. And this is like a feeling of get it done, and not be too focused on, on what I want. It's about what the job requires, and let's do the right thing. So there's a sacrifice element in there that says I can get this done. Now on the other side, your life path says I want to be a leader. I'd like to be a force in wealth. I'd like to be a force in stability and structure for others. So there's leadership showing up over and over again. But by the time you're 27, you've spent a lot of time leaning into I'm just going to keep my head down, keep quiet, and get my studies done. The fours are going to stay working really hard, and the seven's going to stay quiet. So it's not going to get into any kind of trouble. And the one will be independent anyway. So we have a very large part of your life that shows up that says, I'm not going to step into leadership. I'm going to step into independence. And the leadership shows up that way instead, especially when we have Angel Williams. Angel Williams not going to stand up for leadership. It's got no ones. The only four it has is in quiet inside of study and let me help with someone else. And so that feeling can be very difficult to do what's right for itself. So if you're like, shoot, yeah, it sounds like it would be great, but it feels like it's so far away, it's because you've been running Angel Williams for how long? Since how, for what, this is you. So we taking a new switch or a new shift on this, you have some options and some choices. The easy ones that we can just take a look at would be, and this is probably a pretty good time to unmute yourself so we can have some dialogue, but the Angel K Williams takes you one step higher. Now you could go higher because again, the 764, I don't choose that, but it is at least balanced. And this one says God. Okay, so I take a look at a 7 is a G letter, a 6 is an O letter, and a D is a 4 letter. So it's a very holy and divine sounding and feeling name.
Interesting.
And it's also your name.
Yeah.
So when you're saying interesting, you must be going through this oh my God, no wonder. And that feeling of your spiritual connection to source would probably, crazy. Your faith has got to be you're one of God's, come here, and my family. And you're one of the powerful people on the planet who are supposed to do something powerful. And it's a spiritual epiphany because it shows up inside of your name. So if we were to balance it out for wealth or for business, the ones that I chose for you or showed you, I was like, well, if she wants to go even further, it would either be KT, KK, or KB. So keeping with the authenticity of Kathleen, we thought, okay, KT would be a pretty easy one to take on. And now you're running in a vibration that shows up with leadership and communication of wealth, and that quiet side of you now sort of stands up and stands tall and stands proud, and it starts to communicate more from the emotional as opposed to the wealth that wants to communicate from the hard work. And if it's gonna, if you want to get it done, you got to work hard, and that vibration of the 4 will limit you. And the other big parts, you're I don't want to be limited. And then we have a vibration of Angel KT or short for Kathleen Williams. Now we show up with one that says, I'm still quiet. I have that entrepreneur mindset, but I operate from a heart-based consciousness, and stays authentic. We could also do things like Angelique Williams or Angelique Kathleen or Angel Kathy Williams. We can play around with it in case you're feeling something else, or we could take K out altogether and just give you a weird letter that probably doesn't have anything to do with anything. But however you want to, if you're no, I like Angel KT Williams. If you're curious to see what else is out there, just let me know.
Yeah, no, I am kind of feeling this because at one point I did want to put my name as Angel K Williams, and it wasn't feeling right. But when you just put it up here, it felt a whole different way. Okay. And then adding the T to it, I'm feeling that works for me.
Okay, so we're gonna see you. This is big, guys. This is because you're taking a new vibration, right? And once before, the 742 would be reliant on other people for your sense of self. This one looks in the mirror and smiles assuringly, knowing that you've got yourself. Okay, so you holding this new vibe, I changed your name on Zoom, is the first place that you're wearing your brand new name. That's it feels good, and looking at it just feels like you can breathe again, and you can actually achieve and soar. So I would even be introducing yourself as Angel KT Williams, or it even sounds like Katie, like KT, right? Like you can
Yeah.
really, and like it has so many play on it that it's authentic to you, and of course, like without a doubt, you take this to your business, you take this to an email address, you take this as many places as you can, usernames, your wherever it is, your Instagram handles, however it is it shows up. But I'll tell you something, if Angel K Williams shows up on a credit card, that credit card's like, it's not going to come out of the wallet just for anything. It's going to keep its rules in order. It's like, do I need to buy this? No, I need to buy it. I still have something I can use. And so you're not going to just run out and start tapping spending. Angel K Williams keeps her rules in order. Like you're going to have a strict discipline about stuff. So it's nice to see this, especially now.
Yeah, I'm liking that a lot.
Yeah, me too. Any questions, any comments, or any piece of this?
No, but I like my vibration is up right now. It's crazy.
It's nice. It's kind of a couple switches, right? Vivi brings something really important to the conversation because Vivi, you're going to be in charge of helping people because you got the app. So if you guys aren't using the app, Vivi's got the app. But when you add things like at Gmail, at Outlook, at Live, at Hotmail.com, .org, .biz, www, it starts to change the vibration of what you're dealing with. Okay, so just in case you're playing like every single vibration you can, you're going to want to make sure that you play in for that. So if you add an at gmail.com, that could just mean that instead of having Angel KT Williams, you'll also need the number 4 or the number 7 or whatever it is that connects it so that it balances back out to communication and wealth. So Gmail, www. The one small little hack I have in my website is www and then it's .xyz. This combination will allow you in a domain to keep your name. So if you wanted to get a website and go angelktwilliams.xyz, it wouldn't mess anything up. It would be the same thing as just the one name that we've come up with. It would still be 786. So it's a powerful code to know that you've got letters that you can use for a website. That's one exception. And then everything else, it's kind of like, we'll be busy for days. So, and we still are. We still keep talking about this between me, Tanji, and Vivi, where it's an ongoing conversation that I have daily. That's why I created the app because, I'm like, whoa, it's a lot of different things you want to align. And I get it. This is your life. And I'm expensive. So, of course, the app is going to be perfect. You can just play around all day long. But I would say that you keep those things into consideration as we move forward, okay? Angel,
that's awesome.
Williams.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
Good, really good. Thank you.
Me too. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you build a wonderful looking business. Look at this. The 7s and the 8s come back out in power. And instead of having the 4, and the 4 energy that keeps you feeling rigid, now you've got that feminine vibration of flowy and emotionally caring and responsive, and it fits so well. So this is a wonderful looking vibe. Make sure you change everything, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Very, very welcome. Okay, Aaron, how about you? So I'm just going to mute you, Angela. Thank you so much. Okay, Aaron, if you want to unmute yourself, this is a wonderful, loving conversation I'm going to have with you here. Super blessed to connect with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. So we're looking at a life path 4, and we were just talking about the oscillation between balance and unbalance. The universe loves me not. It's like the flower, right? And it's like we have to keep on moving and it sucks because it feels like every step that you land on, that you finish landing on, is yet uneven, and then it doesn't fit anymore. Whether it be like your birthday was powerful, and then Aaron Lee Alder shows up as imbalance. Oh, but Adler, sorry, but
okay.
But then we see, okay, but Aaron Adler's not good. Aaron's not good. Lee is good. Adler's good. So they're starting to sort of separate whether they're even or not. And what we want to make sure is that when you show up with them, they're going to be, because part of you, the original part of you, shows up as a vibration here that says you want things to be stable and balanced and orderly, and it's got the 4, and this is your year. Like you and Marie have got 4 life paths. Felicia as well. You got name like Angelique has got, or Angel as well. You guys all have 4s in your chart in a very strong way. They're all good looking 4s, which means that you guys need to hit 6A this year. Like that's a weird thing. I'm looking at my microphone. I'm like, ugh. Like you really want to make sure that you do all of the work required. And that is like, again, that inner work stuff that we really want to pay attention to, because the 4 says, I want to build this. I want to get this thing moving. I want to get this thing flowing. And the 4 wants to get to work. So this year, get good at, like for me, I exercise as at the same time I do personal development. So I listen to audios while I'm on the treadmill, and I hit 2 birds with 1 stone. On the way to the gym, I film a video, I film an ad. So I'm capitalizing on my time. I do a meditation there as well. So I'm really making sure that I'm compacting in time and space, because the 4 is the even side of you. You're like, yes, 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 I love it, I love it. Then we see the 6th of June. You're going to have a loving, caring feeling about you as well, that you keep your rules in order, but you're also a very loving human being. This is starting to look good, right? And then we see the 2 says is very strong for partnership. So we like these numbers, 2, 4, 6, like they're in sequence. And we like to think that you're playing to a pattern of, I want to build something, I want to be loyal, you can definitely rely on me. But then things start to go into the chaos, the 5 of I'm beating myself up, or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do for me, or I'm not treating myself the way I want to, or I treat myself like I took all my time to like getting the discipline ready, and then I just went and put the chaos through it all. And that's the 5, where it's like it just ruins it.
Just ripped it out of the notebook.
And like and like the director's process, right? The creator, the writer's struggle, and that feeling is there. And then we start to see where things start to wobble and weave off. Aaron Lee Adler shows up here with more love than you know what to do with. And you will either absorb more than, like, you are so loving and caring, you could stand next to this woman and you would feel better. Like that's what type of a person she's a safe space, because the 4 will be like, I'm here for you. And the 3, 6, 9 is like, give me one of the best hugs you're ever going to have in your life. She's loving and caring and giving. That's a wonderful space to have in there. You're accelerating love, whether it be the joy of enjoyment, the responsibility of caring for others, or the big level impact of I want to do something for people all over the place. I want to do big things. And that's that vision of there, but it forgets to do what's right for you. It's so busy taking care of everyone else. And then we get a chance to see, well, the Aaron side of you will beat yourself up. The Lee side of you will work without complaining. The Adler side will definitely work without complaining. You get it done. That's the energy behind these people. It's like they're patient, but they can work really hard. So you've got lots of solid looking 4s in your chart that says this year we should see you do some powerful things. Now, on the other side of this, Aaron Adler shows up and says, just kidding, and rips everything up. And the same problem we're looking at now, it says, I don't have the patience. I can't have the follow through. I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta move things over and move things around. Now, remember when I was working with you guys, I noticed that everyone's got this thing inside of them that makes them like this authentic uncovering of an archaeological fortune that's underneath you guys. And we move one step forward, and I go into Aaron L. Adler, and now suddenly we're back in the purple, and you're literally moving a vibration that says the 6 is power. I want to create wealth as well. I'm here. I'm loyal. I'm here for you. But it achieves the graduation of wealth. This is literally the one. I have a lot of faith in this number because, of course, like we were looking at God, the vibration of vowels shows up as O. The vibration of, it shows up as 6. That's O. The consonants show up as the G. And then when you put the 2 together, it creates the D, the God vibration. So when we see this vibration, we're looking at the same thing again, whether it be the way that the letters show up or the way the numerology shows up. This is a number you can trust. This is a number that leads people, and that helps people get to a better place. You will be an answer to people for their prayers. It's also my last name. So when I see numbers like this, I trust them. Vanita K. Gupta took a vibration shift into God mode energy as well. So it's nice to be able to see that. And again, your actual name. This is really reinforcing the feeling of what are you people? You guys must be some specific that is not normal. And this is again the result of a manifestation that happened seasons and years ago. I'd like to think of your sponsors that really started to pull people like you that have this vibration upgrade available and ready. But I can only imagine how frustrated Aaron Adler has become, because the 5 is angry and the 4 is frustrated and the Aaron Lee Adler's like big smile. I'm just gonna endure this and then repeat, and that can feel like you're being pulled apart from yourself. So Aaron L. Adler, you introduce everywhere signature. If you want, I could show you what other things are available, but I think that's the one that you have to take. Like with a Life Path 4, it'd be very difficult to show you a different looking letter when your name says something really powerful. But did you have any comments about your chart?
No, the only question that I had, and honestly, I've been over here, like I was half listening and half playing with the app, to be completely honest. I did Aaron Lee, and it comes up 685, which is kind of a negative, but it's a positive.
It's not. It's not positive. The problem is that your positivity gets used against you, and other people will profit from it, where you'll be left with a hole in your bag. The 5 will rip things away, and the 6 and the 8 give, serve, give, serve, give, serve. It's like you're tying your vision into someone else's machine, and you're getting bitter about it. So if it ends in a 5, it's not a vibration that you can use.
Okay. I also did Aaron Lee A, and it comes out at 786.
Yeah, see, perfect. What a good looking name. Let's just go Aaron Lee A, and let's go 786, just so you know that you can literally create a brand like this as well too. And again, we have intuition. This is quiet. This is a bit more reserved. That business vibration and connection back into the planet, back into the communication. Wonderful looking vibe. And again, a more of a validation to your natural power as a soul. You have to start looking at this now and being like, man, when I look at 369, okay, you got 369. I look at the love numbers, 369.
Right.
You're literally occupying divine sacred geometry space right now. And who else does that? Raquel Francis Almeida does that. And Marie Claude Bernard does that. And I think that's it for sacred geometry that shows up. Felicia Quintero does that as well too. So there are other places where it starts to show up very divine looking, but this is one of them. The problem is that it's egoless, so it doesn't have the ability to stand up for yourself, and that's a challenge. So when we look at Aaron Lee A or Aaron L. Adler, it shows up now saying, I stand for myself so I can stand for others, not just fall over for everyone else. Because the 4, feels like you get taken advantage of. And you're just working so hard, or other people walk all over you. But there's a part that's like, you can't do that. And that doesn't want to operate at that level, especially as Aaron Adler. It's frustrated. It'll tell you no, and it's going to sort of fight back, and bad things happen. At least this way, nobody's fighting. And now it's moving more into connection energy. Cool. Very powerful stuff, hey?
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very welcome. Anything else?
No, but I probably can shut my video off so I can cry.
It's okay. We send you absolute love, care, and to be fair, you're taking on a lot of energy that doesn't belong to you. So bless you for being that, we appreciate you for being here. So this is a safe, super safe space. I know what it's like to have numbers like this and feel this. So if you need me, I'm always here. And if you'd like any insight into this, we can always dive in. But everyone just Care Bear stare, put that love together. We're all here with this, and it's tough because we hold on to this. This is like a tight woman. You're you're gonna keep your shit together, and then but on the inside, it's gonna be that love of emotion that can feel overwhelming. So tears for the love you've taken from others that doesn't belong to you because you've helped process it, and now you're stepping into leadership and power. It's like, oh man, I felt like I was never gonna get unstuck from that. Look what I actually have. And this is not fabricated. This is literally yours. So at a certain point, The tears got to turn into tears of joy, and it's got to be laughing to think, man, I'm so much closer along my path than I thought I was, especially with numbers that are like that are this good. So you're good. You're good. Okay.
I appreciate that.
I
So
appreciate
much.
you. You're very welcome. I'd love to connect with you privately if it comes into that. So moving forward, we'll keep on going through. Did you have any comments, questions, or anything, Erin, or was that good?
No, I appreciate it. It was a little bit scary, the fact that you literally described the last 43 years of my life.
Yeah.
In a 3-minute period.
I know, right? I told you guys.
I'm like, is he really just living in the side? Is he living in the other room in my house? Like, what the hell?
I know, right? That's what people. I've heard that so many times. I'm like, guys, no, I don't know. So if it lands for you, then I'm blessed. If it doesn't, and some people just look at me stone cold face, they don't say anything. I'm like, ooh, I must have hit a really powerful spot there, because they're like, I know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. But you're very brave for being able to express yourself, and I appreciate you for that. Just made it real. Just definitely made it real. Tangi, I just love this beautiful community. Thank you, Bobby, for creating such a safe space for all of us. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so you're welcome. Felicia, how about yourself? I'm not sure if you can unmute or not. If you can't unmute, you can just read me in the chart. But what we want to do is we want to talk about this, because here we have a similar looking situation, but of course it's unique to you, right? And of course, you've got a really powerful looking name, Felicia Christina Quintero. Listen, can you unmute? If you can't, let's see if I can find you. You're here, right? Hold on. Just want to make sure that I can see you. Yeah, you are. Can I hear you, or are you unmuted or not?
I'm here.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
I'm just afraid I might get cut off.
Oh, okay, sure. So let me know if we'll do it.
Okay.
But a couple of cool things we have here. So first of all, we have the first of a lot of 3 energy inside of our chart here, guys. So this is going to really stand for a lot of you. The 3 shows up again as that artist vibration, the creative, and wants to love, care. And it's also going to feel very loving, want to feel pretty, want to feel beautiful. This is your princess version of love, like the sweetheart and the youth and the childlike vision. Then we have other concepts that show up on the inside. Like, for one, your name says a pleasure to work with and gets the job done. This is leadership you can trust. Then we look to your birthday and we're like, hey, this is definitely leadership you can trust. She's born in January. So you've got a vibration that says, I want to stand in the front. I want to express myself. I want to be in charge and control. Great, maybe come up with a little bit of anxiety along the way through that. But the one wants to express it and wants to be in charge. Then it also comes in and shows up good for relationships. Now, this is big because Felicia Quintero, you're the master of self-sacrifice. This is like, I will do whatever I can for the one that I love. And this relationships are very important for you throughout world or throughout this life, because this is how you identify. And this can be a challenge. It shows up like an angel, like a guardian angel for someone who wants to sort of be there for someone else and really get that thing going and being a partner to someone else. So it's nice to see that we would see that. But we look towards the second part of life. 2 and 9 are also showing up inside of here. So there will come a time where your leadership grows into wanting to serve the planet or serve others at a big level. And then that can scare you, because the 3's like, I just want to have fun. And the 9's like, we're going to get into a place where we save the planet. We're going to do big things. And there's 2 sides that you can play into. So if you just go to the party wanting to enjoy, you're not going to ruffle any feathers. But if you get deeper in with anyone, we can definitely start to see that there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger woman, there's a bigger power inside that has that thirst for a bigger level of achievement. And depending on where you want to go with your vibration, we can make it happen. So in between the different letter options that you have, this is where we start to come into a vibration that doesn't have the letter C in it, because the letter C says, I'm just going to go off and I'm going to fight myself, or fight others, or feel like I'm not accumulating wealth. This is like arguing with your clients, or people thinking, oh, this is a scam. And the people you talk to are not going to be cohesive to wealth conversation. There's no money numbers inside of Felicia C. Quintero. So we want to find something that's going to do that. we want to make sure that it's going to be something else. Now, my sister's Christina, and we call her X. So that's a very fitting vibration to think that you'd put a Felicia X Quintero, and that would symbolize a Christina. I wanted to at least see, did we have like a Felicia Chris or Felicia Christina would work? I just wanted to see if there was at least something there that would look that we could put together. Or if you had one that you wanted to try, I'd love to see it if we can put it together. I wanted to see if I could find one that would work. Let's see this one. No. Okay, how about Tina? Let's like that. No, it doesn't work. How about C? Yeah, we could put CL or CCC or CU. If you're
I
gonna
actually like the X.
you like the X, right?
I do.
It feels the most authentic to me, just because of the way that I treasure my sister, right? So to have a vibration like this now shows a value of partnership, leadership, communication, and wealth. This is the one that really gets us moving, and I'd say definitely taking it onward as well too. So what I'll do is, just to catch up, I'm going to go Aaron Lee A. You've taken your new one on. Let's go into Felicia. You're going to put yours one on as well too. And I put yours as a Quintero. And your Zoom handles are only good until the end of this call. So kind of like the fairy godmother from Cinderella. It's like by the end of the ball, the name will go back to a pumpkin. So you want to make sure that you change this in your settings and that you really sort of adopt this everywhere. I would suggest you take like an entire day to map out which one of these are you going to be moving towards? Which one of these are you going to be changing? Which one can you move to your direction? But yes, very powerful. So Felicia, any questions, comments, or insights about your chart?
Well, I mentioned to you that I was thinking about changing my last name to Puertas. Does that change everything?
Yeah, it changes the whole thing. Do you want to just quickly, can you spell it for me real quick?
Huertas.
T-A-S, Puertas.
Uh-huh.
So then what would you do? Can we just do Christina? See, Felicia Christina Puertas will work, but it only goes up to a 4. So it stays here, and this is frustrating because, of course, we want to be like, magnetic in our wealth and not just mechanical in it. So it would still need a lift up. But if I were just to go Felicia Huertas, it wouldn't work. So you need the letter. You could take the letter X. It could be the same thing. So actually, I take it back. It won't change it. It actually will still work. Huertas is a great last name. Is seeing that you don't have to worry about messing it up. It'll just looks a little different, but it's still the same overall family, parent, connector, relationship. So is this your husband's last name?
Yes.
And you guys are already married?
No.
Okay.
We are going to be.
Well, the thing is that you're not looking at getting very much of a change when you change your name to his. It's like a match made in heaven kind of thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing to see. But yes, for now, Felicia X Quintero, and seamlessly, Felicia X Huertas is like you didn't even skip a beat.
Awesome.
Cool. That's awesome. It's great to hear. I'm glad to see it. It's great to work with you.
Yes, thank you. I can't wait for our one-on-one.
Yes, me as well. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, awesome.
You're booked in already. You're booked in already.
Yes, I am.
Yes, excellent. So we're going to get yours done, and we'll go in for the full meal, the full deal. It'll be awesome. Okay, so Kristen, are you with us? If you are, let me know.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, good.
So we've got the photographer here. Now, this is the one where we see, and I'm glad that you're playing into your numbers huge. Like this is power because we see the 3s showing creative expression. We mentioned that. Then we see the 8s on the beginning of your name and the 6 and the 22 in the beginning of your chart that show up as the 4, 6, and the 8 in wealth. So if we can make a dance around something that's creative, I wonder what, and then also something that monetizes, I wonder what. And she's like, I can do a group session for you. I'm like, that would be amazing. You get a bunch of entrepreneurs together. Everybody helps cover her fee, and she'll come and take pictures of all you guys. And I saw her work, and I'm like, because Jamie had it. And I'm like, Jamie, you're looking good. That was a good quality photo shoot. and photo womanship. I don't know how you call it, the photo work. I don't know how it's supposed to call it.
Photography.
Photographerism, photographership. Anyway, but it's nice to see that because you're playing into your numbers, and the art meets the value and the quality. However, it's not enough because here you are as an entrepreneur being like, I want more. I'm ready to be a leader. I'm doing this thing. And,
Yep.
and you're tied to the lens, and that's a challenge because you can't take the time off with that. That means that you've got to be shooting. You've got to be in there. And I know the
Yep.
same feeling because, of course, I'm a consultant. We pay on job or on demand, but it's tied to its wealth, and other people will experience it other than you. So it'll be enough to keep you going. But then you're like getting tired, and I'm like, I switch this shit up. I want to move this down. I love my value, but I'm also ready for more. But the problem is the 3 is like, but am I ready for more? Because I get that anxiety, and I speak, and then I doubt myself a lot. And then we look towards these numbers: Kristen Vincent, the 5s. After you finish doubting yourself, it can get downright mean to itself. And the 5, and I have it. I know what this looks like. It's angry towards the self, or it doesn't do what's right for me, or I'll emotionally eat, or I'll do something to myself that doesn't speak to my ultimate power. And the problem is that the 7 here is kind of like, okay, keep moving on. So let's get out of there now. Because the 7 doesn't want to bring it back up. It wants to kind of pretend like it's all good. The 3 wants to pretend like it's all good. The 3 wants to pretend like it's all good. Your best love and your best service effort and everything is given to others, and it's not sort of sorting back onto us. And this is the human condition. Like, everybody's dealing with this. I talk about this more than I talk about anything else, that we just don't take time to honor ourselves. We're taught not to be selfish. We're taught to always, oh no, you first. And especially if in Canada, we apologize for things that's not even our problem. People bump into us. I did that in the States, and I bumped into someone, and I'm like, oh, sorry. And he's like, nah, you all right, man? I'm like, oh, my God. He's like getting mad at me for like apologizing. He's like, damn, Canadians. I'm like, it's okay. I'm so sorry. We're Canadian. But the feeling is that we're giving more to others than back to us. So Kristen Lee Crawford dives back down into the 3. You're an entrepreneur, then really hardworking, and then this 3 is like, I don't want to work, I want to go on vacation. And then the vibration of your life path says the same thing. Very serious up front, very loving, caring. There's that leadership that cares and loves, and then it goes down into the I'm going to work really hard and let's get this thing done. You're here right now, so you got like this big vision that scares you.
Yes.
Underneath it, it says, I don't want to work anymore. I just want to hold my baby hand. I just want to go traveling. I just want to go and have fun and want to enjoy stuff. Take me to the spa. Like, I want to go shopping. I don't want to have to deal with big level stuff. I've spent my whole life dealing with that. And this is the time for you to create that power. But every day you got to, deep breath at yourself in the mirror. Anxiety's got to come through. And I would suggest loving, calm meditation as a daily effort, a daily practice, or make it part of your ritual. You would spend time with your thoughts. Would really help sort of tone it in, but also taking time on a daily and weekly basis for fun and making sure that you do things that are not job related, like especially for you, double 3. So the aesthetics, the beauty, the enjoyment, the love, it's got to be there, and it has to be on schedule. You can't just neglect that part. And that a lot of us do that, especially as a Kristen Lee Vincent. Whatever you need, she's going to run to your aid. And Kristen Vincent, don't worry about me. I'm fine. And when really you're kind of blowing up on the inside a little bit. So we want to put some stuff together that says, okay, let's keep this thing moving and let's keep this thing power. So let's rebuild this because there's a few options here. So you're holding a couple of different names. First of all, is Kristen Lee Vincent. This is your legal name right now?
Yes.
And it's also your social media stuff?
Yes.
So one thing you could do would be taking Kristen Lee Vincent plus the D, the M, or the V. So you would add a letter like Kristen V. Lee, D. Lee, or M. Lee, or Kristen Lee V. Vincent, or D. Vincent, or M. Vincent. So I know it's a bit of a stretch. Some people are okay doing this, but just so you know, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, so we're going to delete this one, okay, and we're not going to talk about the full version. What about just, where did we see the double T somewhere? No, I didn't see a double T. So, but Vivi, we're using the app. If anyone else is using the app to sort of work with me on this, you could now work with just Kristen Lee, or just Kristen Vincent plus a letter. So we've got things like, let's just try Kristen Lee, and would you go with the V? So if you were to go V, no, it doesn't work. How about Kristen L. Vincent? Still doesn't work. If you take the L with you, LY or LG or LP would be the one to use in case you're wanting to. So it would be Kristen Vincent, and then what was it? It was LP, LG, or LY 538.
LG.
Or just Kristen Vincent with just the S. Sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at also with the letter L, because for Lee, right? So LY, LG, or LP, or just Kristen S. Vincent or Kristen J. Vincent. So here we're starting to come away from the authenticity of just the name itself, and we have to put something else in. How about Crawford's done, right? Or are you still around there?
I love my old last name, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, because just to be fair, I'll just like put this out here. Just saying, Kristen Crawford shows up balanced. So no wonder you love it, because it actually works really good.
I've always loved my last name. Yeah.
This is the one that you just sit there and look pretty, and people want to come to you, and they want to sell themselves to you, and you've got more than you can deal with, and you're going to be nicely slow paced. No need to ruffle any feathers. So this is a good looking vibe. It's a challenge because, of course, after you take it out to Vincent, it doesn't actually work the same way anymore. And it basically changed vibration out. So your old name was Power, but let's just try it. Let's just see if we put the whole thing together. Vincent, like that. How about?
Can we somehow put Vincent and Crawford together?
Yeah. How about V? See, like if you were to go Kristen L.V. Crawford or V.L. Crawford, this would also work very well as well too. Or what about if we did the other way and we did Vincent and then we did L.C. would also work. So if you were to go Kristen L.C. Vincent, that would also work as well too.
L.C. Vincent?
Yeah, like that. And then that one moves you into, like, you sound nice. You sound like a great gal. You sound awesome. But you sound pretty powerful. Like you really want to take something down and really want to build something. Like you can hear it in the drive underneath you. That's Kristen L.C. Vincent. Like, trust me, she's going to get there. She's going to build it. Yeah.
I want something big.
Yeah, the big one would be Kristen L.V. Crawford. Let's go back to just Kristen Vincent and let's see if we can get even higher. And we're going to go, this time we're going to go Kristen A. Vincent. Now goes the highest, and this is the highest that we've seen so far. Or we could also take a look at one more, right? Let's see, Kristen A. Or how about, H, Q, or Z? I saw that. That doesn't go up as high. The biggest one so far is A, and then you could also put in things like
AX.
AX, is that one? No. How about?
I don't know.
AG, AP, or AY. So really there's not much to, you could start spelling Kristen with a Y, and then it would show up like Kristen A. Vincent, but now we're really veering off, and it would show up with a little bit of a higher vibration. Now we're looking into word Queen and Master Power, which is like, well, Queen sounds nice for a princess, absolutely. Like definitely doesn't matter. Like that looks really powerful. But we also showed up with Power, showing up with Kristen L.V. Crawford. That one was really powerful too. Like that one goes big. So in case you're like, I really like that. I love the way that it looks. I don't blame you because it's actually an epic. I have that vibration. That's why I love it so much. So don't let me fool you. Other people have taken it, but it does give you the all the way around, like spiritual, intuitive, business, actual, like caring of the family, communicative, you build relationships, referral business, people want to send more people to you, and you just sit there and do the right thing.
So what's the difference between this one and the Kristen changing my second I to a Y?
And then going A? Yeah, because then there was that one, or there was Kristen A.
Yes.
Vince.
I just want a power. I'm just ready to step into a
Yeah,
major powerful role. So
I'd say like the 696 is more about the mastery, and this is more about the, okay, I'm not into the spiritual right now. I'm into the building my legacy, and this is legacy wealth. So this is the one I would say that helps you move forward. But really, it's more, we're so close that it's more about which one do you. So let's take Chris. Yeah, because that's still authentic, right? So it's more about which one do you really feel into, which one like you sign into better. Like, would you be willing to, let me just try Kristen versus Kristen, and we'll go one with the Y and one with the I. I'd say the one with the Y is much more powerful. This one, Kristen A. Vincent, stands categorically above the rest. So this is the one. There's no
okay.
more deciding. If you're like saying, I like this,
Yeah,
this is the one that goes the highest, okay?
I like it.
Okay, so that's a big one. That's like a big shift. So what we're going to do is I'm going to rename you as well. We'll make sure yours shows up. Learning how to spell your name differently, introducing it differently. Never use Kristen with an I again. Like I'm not kidding here. Kristen with an I shows up as an emergency responder healer that just wants to go in like a running into the burning building and wants to save someone. It's a paramedic emergency. And this can cost you a lot of energy. It can make you very nervous and anxious. The Kristen with a Y shows up as a master wizard, big time kind of energy frequency. So you shifting that letter in your first name, I'd say, is probably one of the most important pieces of this puzzle to identify as Kristen with a Y. Is it will do much more on top of taking now the 696. And it's you could even, I'm not sure if Christina shows up, but that.
Is there anything we could do besides the A in the middle? That's the only one.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to put this one here together. Let's go Kristen Vincent, and instead of the A, let's try J or S, not as high, or the U, Kristen U Vincent, even higher. So that that now you go up to 898, and that goes like even higher than before. So it's huge.
Okay. So I would have to change my business name and like my photography name and put that on my social media and affiliate marketing business name.
Everywhere everywhere you want it to be applied, everywhere you want to use it. So it depends on, because if you're established with your business, what's your business called? Just
Kristen Vincent Photography.
Okay, so let's try that. Photography. And now this same thing, I would write in here. I would put, let's just put the I back. Wow, yeah, no wonder. Her art is amazing. And this is master artist, but you're not making any money doing it. That's the challenge, is that you'll be a lot more busier than profitable. And that's not the place we want it to be. But what about Kristen L. Vincent Photography is the one you take for your brand. Okay, so let's just Kristen L. Vincent Photography. This is the one that elevates you and promotes you. And then as a vibration for what you're going to take, you're going to call yourself, that you can decide whatever you want to do is going to be different. But the Kristen with an I, L. Vincent Photography, that's the one that you should run with your business.
Okay, with that one. And then Kristen A or U Vincent is something that I can use for the affiliate marketing.
Right, and then you would spell it with a Y.
Yes.
And if you're going to be big, you have to talk big. You talk big, you do big, you be big, the whole thing big. So that means that if you're going to say, well, I'm Kristen U or Kristen A Vincent, you go either from love in the feminine or wealth in the masculine. And that the blessings on both sides, you get a chance to decide. The A goes into the feminine, the U goes into the masculine. They both go to wealth, they both go to legacy, but I prefer a female level of energy in this level of business because it's about community and it's about building family. So for me, that's where I sit. and that's where your business sits with Kristen L. Vincent Photography. So, just food for the wise there in case you're looking for, food for thought.
Okay, so A is the feminine, so that's probably what I would want to go with.
Okay, there you go. So let's take that one. We'll put it there. And Kristen A. Vincent, yeah, we already changed it on your Zoom. Very powerful. Very, very,
Okay,
very
cool.
powerful. Okay, cool. Okay, let's keep moving forward.
Bobby?
Yep.
If she keeps the I, the Kristen A. Vincent is 628 if she liked that.
Kristen A. Vincent?
Her regular spelling. And then she doesn't have to change her spelling of her name. Just a thought. Because 628 is powerful, you said, right?
It is. So if you go Kristen A. Vincent like this, thank you for that. It's hard to do this when you're not knowing how many different options you have. That's why I definitely suggest that if you're feeling a little bit like, okay, it may be because we should sit together. But imagine now what would happen if I combined those two energies and I put them together. Kristen A. Vincent now shows up as authentic. But the problem is that Kristen on its own is very challenging. So just in case you're dealing with that feeling of I give too much and I end up paying the price and this is a lot to take, then you may consider that's bigger than just a Facebook page. Now this is about your sanity. So Kristen is definitely like, I'm going to help, I'm going to run in, and that can be a little bit much to handle. So depending on you. But do you feel more into the I or more into the Y now?
I like the Y.
You like the Y? Okay, so let's leave it the way that it is then. And then, but I appreciate the option. At least that way it shows up. And we'll go 696. Cool. Kristen, any thoughts, comments, observations, or questions?
Real quick, what's Kristen A. Crawford?
That didn't vibrate out, right? So
okay.
Let's go Kristen A. Crawford. Because Crawford was already good. So Kristen A. Crawford you don't need. And then Kristen A. Crawford with a Y also doesn't work either. So no vibration.
Okay, let's just do Vincent. Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Excellent. You're very welcome. And any other questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Excellent. Awesome. Okay, Teresa, you've been very patient. We're coming around to the other end of the chart now. I appreciate you guys. Am I missing anything inside of the chat here? I know that there's people out here. I prefer be known to be kind rather than be rude. Me too. Okay, cool. So, Teresa, if you're with us, Let me know. Are you unmuted? Hey, how's it going? How are you?
It's going. I'm here trying to figure out what my name would be.
Yeah, right. We're going to come up with something cool. So let's talk about some of the sides that we've got going on here. This is evenly distributed. Okay, you got already looking at like 1, 2, 3. We're missing the 4 here, so it's somewhere in here. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's like, you have literally almost all of the numbers except for 4 and 9 inside of here. So it's going to show up somewhere, of course, else in the chart. But let's focus on the fact that that's a nice even spread. So the 5, first of all, gives us a vibration of movement. And I know you like dancing. This is a vibration of wanting to continuously like be in motion. So you'll feel safe when that's an area for you to be able to go express in. So it's nice to be able to have that. There's a championship mentality inside of there. So, you don't just sort of dance to not, you put in your whole heart, soul into it. That 5 wants to say you dance with passion. And then there's a feeling inside of the 6s that are going to show up with love and care. So if you can teach this and share this with others, the 6 says, I love this. It's a passion of mine. And the 5 says, I've got the passion part of it. And the 2 will show up, says partnership. So you're going to speak a lot of your energy through dance. And I love it because me and my wife love dancing, and we go for lessons and stuff, and it's awesome. But when we take a look at this vibration, we see that you're playing towards your numbers. Let's take a look at wealth for a minute. This wants to lead people, and it wants to help grow entrepreneurs. And the 5 wants that ambition of like, I've got big eyes. I want all the monies. I want them all. I want to take it. I want to have it. And that feeling of the 5 wants to express that ambition. The 6 wants to express ambition in love, ambition in mentorship, ambition in wealth. And the 2 wants to experience like passion with a partner. So we see that showing up. Then we look at your whole name, and we see that there's an artist or a creator, a dancer, and this feeling of the 3 wants to express itself. But the problem is that you do more for others than you do for you. Again, that same thing shows up, that you're gonna it's a lot of it's okay, no, don't worry, and your needs get pushed to the side, and then you'll get pissed off about it, and then every so often the volcano erupts. And then it goes back into feeling the guilt of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But the 5 is always going to want to express itself. And when it doesn't express itself healthy or properly, it can be in overindulgence or negative irritation, frustration, lack of
Overeating.
energy. Yeah, there you go. So it'll have the emotional attachment to eating or feeling that. And it's a simple one. Eating's so simple. When we were babies, as soon as we got full enough, we felt good and we could go to sleep. So there was a biomechanism that says we're reverting back to when we used to feel safe. And that's what we use food for. That's why they call it comfort food. Or my son gets hangry. You know, he doesn't want anything except for boob. And that's just fine. He's a baby. But that's where the stage he's in. Then there was a time in my life where I was like, I'm not going to feel good unless I just have a lot of fried chicken. I'm partial to fried chicken. I love fried chicken. It's no big deal. But I would go and get it, and I would have it. It would make me feel like I could go to sleep, and it would make me feel like I was getting enough food in me. And you know, it affected me in a really big way. Now we look towards this, and Teresa Ramos shows up with a lot
Can
of.
I ask you something real quick before you move on?
Yeah, sure.
When you say partnership, do you mean like business partner, or do you mean like a husband?
I would say in every sense of the word, whether you're teaching, whether you're generating wealth, whether you're making love, whether you're helping someone, partnerships are going to be indicative. Like I would say here, you would dream about wanting to be in a relationship, but then the 5 says, yeah, but then I get anxious in one, and then they get too clingy and I want to be free. And so there's 2 pieces there. The 5 wants freedom. The 6 wants relationship. The 6 also wants wealth. The 5 wants to spend money. So like they really do want to come together, but they do also speak from stability to chaos. I'm here, I'm not here. And so there's a challenge of being able to see into that, but knowing that those 2 pieces are there in you, okay?
Okay.
Then we see the 3, again, more about the indulgence and more about wanting to just feel good right now. I just want to feel good right now. I don't want to worry about later. And that's that feeling of going to, and then the body gets used to it. Here we have a challenge that needs to get moved over and needs to get moved around. The 887 is one of the most challenging vibrations out there because it's got a double 8 in it. So it should show up with so much wealth. It's like having the best stereo system ever on mute, and you're not able to hear anything. And you're like, man, she knows the answers to everything. She's very intelligent, super witty. You're like your high level power when it comes to thinking. You can think very quickly and you can see the answer before someone even sees the problem. Like it's very intelligent, but then it doesn't come out of the mouth and it ends up just circulating energy through it. It can create anxiety. You can also make you feel depressed and disassociated from yourself. Like you don't even care about you, and it can feel so disconnected from you. It's a very scary place to be, especially seeing how close you are surrounded by communication, wealth, experience of expressing it, like literally everywhere. Like everywhere you look, it's like, I'm gonna go crazy. I just need to say something. And like, and then the anger, the frustration, the tears, and the eating, the feeling, all comes and squishes back down to the vibrations that are showing up on the other end, which is 3, or in this case now 2, or the 5, or even just back into the 7. It's squeezing back into an uneven space. So we've got some work to do, and blessed to have you here. You ready for this? We're not gonna do this anymore. We're gonna change this around. So Ramos, no Velez, like what's the deal there? Is that just one parent's name from the next, or do you?
Oh yeah, that's Ramos is my dad. Velez is my mom's. I never really used it.
Yeah, you wouldn't really use. And so, so does that mean you run around usually Teresa Yvonne Ramos, or do you always run around Teresa Yvonne Ramos Velez?
No, it's always Teresa Ramos. That's it.
Okay, so let me just try Yvonne, right? And then let's go with that, and then let's also put back in Ramos, right? And let's see that one. Okay, no. How about Velez Ramos? Let's try that one. No. How about if I have to look a little bit deeper now? IR, no, won't work. Okay, what would work? Let's go look at that, because I know I picked out some. So the G, the P, or the Y allow you to sit at the top, or the J, the S, or the A take you over the top. So you could take IRG, IRP, IRY, IRJ, IRS, or IRA. So probably wouldn't take IRS as your middle name, but you could take IR because they represent, or I guess in your case it would be IV would be different if you put your other vibrations in there. How about Yvonne V? Let me just try that. Yvonne V, no. How about I Velos? No. Veles, right? Is that or Velez?
Vélez, yeah.
Velez.
Vélez.
Okay, yeah, sorry, and there you go.
But I never used that, so I don't know how I feel about that.
My mom's from El Salvador, and I've tried to learn how to speak Spanish, and they just all make so much fun of me because they're like, "You sound like a moron." And I'm like, "I don't even know how to say this properly." I'm like, "Don't worry about me." And so I messed it off. But okay, so we have to find something though. So
I mean, can I just? Do I have to have like my first and last name? Could I just do like Terse, which is what people call me sometimes?
Like TIRS?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because literally that will also move you one step out moves you. Terse Ramos. Now we've got another, actually 786. Now we've got a vibration that really moves. Okay, so this is good. We're going to like this. This is a powerful vibe. And we're going to move it over here too. So take the A out and no longer identify as Tersa. I mean, you could say you can call me Tersa, but that's my name. But when you go by Terse Ramos, this is the one that helps you move forward. Like this is like, and again, we're dealing with something that's very authentic. Can I just try this? I want to see if I go, yeah, because you can even take Terse IR Ramos, but you wouldn't do that because R says Ramos. But okay, so we've got a vibration here that's going to really work. How does that feel though? That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like people who are close to me call me Terse.
But you don't use Terse Ramos.
No, I don't. It's
they
just Terse.
They just say Terse, right? So let me just try the difference between the two. And I appreciate you guys for this because this is 3 hours now, guys. I told you guys we're going to take a long time to do this, and we're coming.
We appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you guys. This screened past. This has went by so quick, but we're going to save the best for last with Raquel. But before we do you have any comments or? See, I would still use Tersa, but unless you use them both together, then you use Terse Ramos. So Tersa's more powerful on its own, but Terse Ramos is more powerful together.
Okay, so and that would be for everything, just Tersa. I mean, I also wanted to mention that when I signed T Ramos.
So what does that look like?
Does that mean anything?
Well, it does. So I mean, that's why it's there when we do that. So T Ramos. So T Ramos like that. Don't do that.
Okay.
I would say, what do? So you know what? If you want to make it simple, just sign Terse Ramos.
Terse Ramos.
Yeah, don't come up with something weird. Like this is it. But this vibration will help even a lot of things out. So I would say that I would love to definitely connect with you properly, when we get the chance to. But this really starts to put things back in order. And especially after having vibrations that were severely out of order, we're going to see some sincere changes inside of you and like the direction that you choose to grow into. This helped me get out of a lot of, I was addicted to drugs, and that makes you lose weight. And so whatever our addictions are, we get a chance to see that this really helps us deal with the emotional cause behind them. But we'd definitely love to dive into that with you, because here we see taken advantage or gives more than she needs to or doesn't speak for her truth. And having born in 77, that's going to be like, that's the story of my life, man. And as it goes through, we have all these different experiences that are going to make these true. Now we are telling a new story that says, I'm going to take this to the next level. So cool. Any other questions?
I do, because I don't really have, like, you asked for a business name. I don't really have one, And I do teach Zumba. I'm sorry?
Are you in the magic business?
Yes, I am.
So you have the water?
I do.
And Get a gallon a day down. Get a gallon a day down. Drink like seriously 4 quarts a day. Like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, 1 at night. Like just keep it coming. The water is amazing. That you have to have a lot of it in order to flush everything. But your brand for your machine, for your Enagic business is you, right? Or do you plan on creating something else? Obviously.
No. That was it. I mean, but it's only like the Facebook name, right? For now, or is it also something with Enagic?
Well, the thing is that if you can get Enagic to send you checks that say Terrace Ramos, that's epic. But if they're sending it the full way, that's another place you're going to show up. That's a $50 change. That's a $50 change, right? And, you have to recognize that. So, depending on where you're going to change these, if you change your Facebook, nobody's going to say anything right away. So just to be fair. But I'd say that you definitely want to look at all the places you're going to use them and make sure that they show up where they need to show up, okay?
Hold on. Sorry, but going back to if they pay me as Terce Ramos, I mean, does that mean I have to change my name like legally? Or
yeah, because at that point the only way you get Enagic to do that is if that was your legal name or you had an LLC by Terce Ramos. So at a certain point, we're going to make an LLC. Like you're going to grow. Your business can expand. You're going to make an entity. And you're going to say, Bobby, I need it. I need you here. Can you help me out? Either you take Terce Ramos LLC or we're going to come up with something else. But whatever it is, we have to find something that we're going to use because we definitely want to make sure that you're working with something, right? Like you got a business name that works. So that's the whole point of making sure that your Enagic document. Do you legally change your name to Terce Ramos? That would help a lot because then you're not dealing with 4 separate vibrations and 2 middle names and 2 last names, and the whole thing kind of like really evens itself out when you just do something like this. But nobody, please, and this is unless you're Angelique Kathleen Williams, Zenrika Tangi Veloso, or Suzette Angelica Vivi Gubish Saliver, the rest, Veloso. Unless you're those people, or Felicia, don't change your name by yourself. You guys don't need to change your name because those of you end in a 4 or an 8 or a 6 are good. You may still want to. The 4 names may want to change the name legally someday. But if you got a red name, don't change it by yourself. Like we have to, you're probably going to want to change it at some point legally. And that's just a future conversation. But so don't change your name legally right now, okay?
Should I just change it when I get married?
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one. But Vivi, and Vivi, you already changed yours. So so if yours is okay now, I guess we'll have to make sure that everything is evened out. I forget now if your name was balanced or not. But let's just double check, right? And just make sure we see it. Your new legal name is not balanced, right? So you may want to be changing that at some point. Or if it's on your passport, Vivi Angelica Veloso does work. So I'm not sure if you remember or not, right? And then as well as Tanji, yours is good either way, whether you have it before or after. So so cool. But yeah, we'll definitely get into it. So and then if there's anyone else that I'm missing, no. Okay, so let's go Raquel, and let's do yours as well too. You've been very patient as we've gone through all of this. It's great to connect with you. Let's see if I can find you here. Okay, you're with us. Can you hear me okay? Is your microphone all good?
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting looking conversation that we're having here. Okay, so everyone is their own unique flavor, and we've obviously recognized that, but there's something unique that you have that nobody else has inside of our chart here today, and this is a Master 7 name at birth, a master version of you existing today, and also a spiritual life path 7 as well as a spiritual name path 7. So there's a very intuitive and deeply connected to source or spirit. People call this religion, but there's like a connection to the divine or the singularity inside of this vibration. Okay, so the 7 shows up as psychic. Okay, your vibration as well will also have a very strong vision of that. So you can read through people very instantly, like almost as if you're missing a filter. And so when we see inside of some of your chart, you are. Like, there's no 6 in there. So sometimes it can just come right out and you're like, oops. Because the 1s and the 5s are like, I'm not wasting any time. The 7 says, I don't want to say anything in that anyway. So when you do mention something, it just comes out quick. And if the 6s were there, it may be more like, hey, I'm saying this because I really love you, and let's find a way to say this properly. And without that, you may just go straight for the bullseye, and that can be very effective. And that can also make you feel a bit more emotionless or a bit more disconnected from your emotion at times. It's not that you're emotionless, it's just that it's not playing in your chart. Inside of your chart, we see leader, and we see ambition, we see pioneer. So there's a lot of connecting and traveling spiritually. You can mystically move like astral or your ethereal being, or you're inside of meditation. That movement energy is very powerful, but it's all in a spiritual space. You moving around and shifting spaces is also a very big deal, but there's a lot of leadership. Now the challenge is inside of your name there isn't very much leadership. It's more about the wisdom of awareness, that it's the master of just holy, spiritual, divine. So you know a lot, but there's no need to go doing everything. And the 1s on the other side are like, oh, I got to do stuff. I want to achieve stuff. I want to get stuff happening. But then the other side's like, but I love not doing anything. That 7s really take you down. Then on top of that, you go Raquel Hugo, and this vibration says, I'm going to change the world. I need to change the planet. I've come here as a master wizard. Some of us, like Teresa Ramos was like, where's my extra wand? And Raquel's like, I've got 2 wands. And you got dual wielding, that you can inspire your reality based on what you say. And this is a really big aha for all of us that are all running inside of a 6 or an 8 vibration, especially when we come to this one. When we look at it, we're looking at this thinking, okay, you're making us recognize a very important piece of the puzzle here. We have to be very careful about the words that we use. Words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. That's why we're using these individual spaces and pieces to literally create a vibration. Your message will be a divine message that rips through the bullshit and will absolutely help inspire people as it goes forward. You need to know that. Like, that's like, if for nothing else, on this magnificent partnership gateway of wizards, an 8-day, these are 2 vibrations, and we're in partnerships, that this is a divine message for Raquel to think there's a reason why you're on this planet, and you have to absolutely stand into that power. There is also a strong paralysis that says, I don't want to, I don't know, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to do anything. And then another part that says, I will, I must, I have to. And so and then just as a small little side note before we kind of go into this, between integrative and indigenous and the other one, Paloma Sanctuary didn't make the cut. So if you want to put something to it and unload it in a way that we can make it work, we'll have to add something. Integrative indigenous definitely doesn't need that. And it's interesting because literally we see God integrates with the planet. Like 7, divine, earth, 4, God, God letter, and it's like descending and it's integrating. So it's so cool because it's numerologically reflective and it numerologically mirrors. Unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way up to wealth. This is a structure and a balance and a foundation. So I like to think there's a reason and a purpose for this. But if you're like, shoot, I need to make money using this, I want to create wealth and value using this, I doubt you're going to take that stance, to be fair. But the reality is you could add a B, a K, or a T, or a D, an M, or a V, and boost it back up in case you wanted to consider what that would look like. But integrative indigenous, I thought it was fitting, seeing as you had master 7s, master 8s, and a 7 life path. It just felt powerful to think this is where your spaceship lands and really creates the new world before you. So it's cool to have that. But there are ways, in case you're like, yeah, that emotionless thing, I would like to bring it back down. You would add a letter G, P, or a Y into your name somewhere. And like, you could like put Hugo with 2 G's, but then it looks like Hugo. So maybe no, but you could put G in there for God, or P or for power, or Y for I don't know. But there you could move it around in case you wanted to upgrade, or in this case, your case, downgrade it's more like side grade. You can't really downgrade because from global visionary down into queen really isn't much of a downgrade. It's just more into the feminine. This one is rooted in its masculine, and it's very androgynous in its feel. Like there's a feminine side of you for sure, but when we see this, it's more spiritually conclusive of both genders. Like you stood above, and you know your life path 7, male and female energy. Master site name 7, male and female is divine energy. And then when we see Raquel Hugo, it's masculine and also master woman vibration in the both levels of the top. So it kind of leaves the loving side to question. I'd suggest Raquel, Francis, Almeida, Hugo, they're going to hold 6s in them. That's just not where you see it in your chart, because you do strike me as a very feminine and woman-like woman. I don't know if that's a way to say it, but we also see that there's a spiritually and divine space for you as well too. But that is your option. So you don't really have too many options. We could also start playing around with Raquel Francis, or your full spelling of your name is also an option. So you could.
Francis has totally never felt like my name ever.
Did you spell it wrong or did I spell it wrong?
No, it was spelt weird on my birth certificate. And when I legally changed my name, I shifted it, but it's just spelt weird. And I was never taught to even spell my name that way. I never spelt my name like that long version of Raquel.
And then we get a weird looking ding in the background, like right as you say that. And my thought was like, what were they doing? Because you've got a master looking life path. And the fact that Raquel Hugo comes out through marriage, Hugo is a married last name?
It's a chosen name. It's funny because I just reconnected with a friend. In 4th grade, we divined, I think it was my first Oracle experience actually, and I wrote that my name would be Raquel Hugo, and I sealed it in a wall, and they just did a renovation, and she was like, I found this shit we put in the wall in 4th grade.
Oh my God, there's the ding again.
and when I gave birth to my daughter, we chose to just give her a chosen name, and we gave her Hugo because it means mind, body, spirit. And then we took her name.
Wow.
So it's not a married name. It's just like a new lineage name.
That's impressive. Yeah. And look what you did to that. You literally took a step up into master and master wizard. So, if you were like, that was a little too hard, I didn't want to go in that direction, then we could continue moving it around. But I would say
right for me. And no matter what system I go through, I always kind of get the same oracle. And I know that this is my name. And the other piece around the business name is I've felt like I have to invent this other name instead of just doing RaquelHugo.com and to describe the work or to describe where the work happens. And I don't know if that's just busy work in my head and it's not even necessary. So exploring what RaquelHugo.com would be.
Yeah, because then now we're dealing with putting the whole thing together, and it won't fit, right? The same way www.raquelhugo.xyz will work, just saying. But if you're going to put raquelhugo.com, let's just see here. I got to go. There's no C in Raquel anymore.
No.
So this goes raquelhugo.com, www. See, you'd need something in it like for let's say for the website, you would put something like www.raquelhugox.com, or you could put raquelfhugo.com. So then now you could use F as in your middle initial, but it wouldn't work if you don't have www and .com. So you couldn't even use RaquelFhugo.com. If you were just to go and say, I don't like using www. If I just say RaquelHugo.com, they're going to know what I'm talking about. Then I would say, okay, then it would be Raquel C or RaquelLHugo.com. And then you could write an L in there or a C in there. You could even try spelling Raquel with a C like that. And
how is it different with www.raquelhugo.com?
Because W stands for 5.
Oh.
So that's 6 extra spaces. It's an extra space of a 6. Because 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. So it's literally adding 6 to the vibration. and that'll change things the way you use it on your marketing. So when you see my websites, you're not going to see it unless it shows up as www.bobbyfperryhard.com.xyz, sorry, or createloveandwealth.xyz. I don't use www here. I just use createloveandwealth.xyz. That's my website. Or here, www.bobbyfperryhard.xyz. So those are my marketing terms that I get a chance to use them. If your site doesn't work that way, you're just going to be saying things like, click here, or click on my link, or click on the link below. But if you create a brand around you, then you can definitely point people to, Raquel F. Or Raquel F. Hugo, www.raquelfhugo.com. And then that would be like something that stands for you as a website with 2 bookshelves around it. The www.com, it's branded as a website. So it's just part of the language that we're part of, that we want to show up that way. But you could shorten it the same way Robert goes into Bob. You can take www out and just go .com. So depending on how you want to show up. But we want to make sure that it works, especially if you're planning on branding around you. So if you're like, well, I don't want to lose any of the juice, then it's tough because none of those vibrations worked. We didn't see it. So it was, we had to find something else. So if you're planning on, how about even just Raquel? See, Raquel.com, of course, that's not going to exist, right? Like, good luck. But it looks really good. Raquel F. Hugo XYZ is 988. I think that's with the XYZ, Raquel F. Hugo XYZ. Yeah, but then you don't choose www on top of that, okay? So that would just, you pay attention to the fact that it's actually with that. Are you using the app, or do you have an iOS, or are you on an Android?
I'm iOS.
Yeah, so the app is,
I'm going to get your app and play with it. I don't have it currently, but
I'll put it inside here.
Bobby, can you unlock? It looks locked. Vanita lost Wi-Fi.
Oh, sure. Let's see if I can unlock it and see if I can get you guys back in.
Thanks.
Cool. So, yes, I'll just see if I can unlock it. It definitely doesn't show locked. It shows unlocked for me, but I'm going to unlock it again. And then hopefully Vanita can come back in. Cool. Okay, so let's go back in. Any other questions, Raquel? It's the shame for me is that I would love to connect with you properly on your proper session, because these numbers are very dear to me. I know that this is a very holy space that the universe is incarnated with you. And this goes for all of you guys, that we should be diving in like detailed to your own personal chart numbers, but I can't do it the justice that it deserves in a couple minutes, a couple sentences, just as a quick little sweep. You've got a big level soul. And just to know, Raquel Hugo, you picked that, and it chose you, and you chose it, and it's your top wizard form. There's a destiny that you're playing in there. And I remember feeling that way when I was dealing with, Tangi and Vivi. Like, I felt that way as well when we were going with Marie Claude as well. And all of you guys have this effect. So it's nice to see that. But did you have any other questions at all about your information?
I'm just digesting it, really appreciating it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
For having this opportunity to connect in this way. And yeah, I'm curious. And I don't have resistance to sharing myself because of shyness or anything. I know that it's almost like the floodgates. And I say that with a lot of humility, because I actually don't even like being in front of the camera, and I'm having to really transform that right now. But I know, without being able to name it, what I'm here to do. And it's huge. It's really, like, I was joking with a friend who's incredibly wealthy, never has to work in his life. He just is a trust fund baby, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And I said, God, you could give me like $500, I would know what to do with it. You could give me $17 million and I would know what to do with it. And it's like, I would know. And it's so, I'd be solving all kinds of problems and creating all kinds of space for thriving. And that's really what I'm here to do, is to create space for thriving. So I need to get out of my own damn way and to show up. So
yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. Okay, so now the next 4, because we did the session already, we've got into this and basically gone through this. So we're not going to specifically go over taking a look at your names, but if you guys have any questions that are still left to go through, I will definitely take at least the next few minutes to go over it. I don't want to take up everybody's evening because, of course, we all have lives to get to. But the reality is that I want to be with you guys until we figure it out. There may be some stuff that is just sorted for a private call. And it just means that, hey, we do have to connect. And I would love to, absolutely love to do that for you guys. What I suggest is that you guys definitely visit the site and you guys connect with me to be able to do that. What I usually would do is I would say that we would connect over like a 30-minute call, a 60-minute call. This year 30 minutes, and then we have 60 minutes, and then I would usually do like a 90-minute call, and then for some who would go into a 3-hour or like 3 separate sessions, we would do for 764, right? So if in case you guys are feeling like you want to work with me privately, what we would do is instead of these prices, I'm going to leave this on here for you guys. And this is basically just exclusive for you guys. Like, I'm not going to advertise this, but you can use it or you can give it to someone. Okay. So if you're not going to take advantage of this, but you know someone in the team that wants to, when you pay the 156, instead it's going to be the 111. Instead of the 268, I'll do the 222 for you guys. Instead of the 333, I'll do the 299. And instead of the 764, we'll do the 699 for the 3-1. So just in case you guys do want to work with me further onward, like in like this case, because I think it was Felicia just bought in for the 1 hour at the 268. So instead I was like, you know what, why don't you just come in for the call? And I wanted to discount that for you instead. So we'll still connect for our time, but I wanted to keep paying it forward to you guys because I want, as a result of this conversation, that you guys have going to find your voice and wealth. Sometimes it's not that easy because we've got to go through stuff in life. And that means that we may have to go deeper. And if you have not had your private session with me, I would definitely recommend that we dive in there. The people who've had it will tell you for sure you have to have it. But it's the most important conversation ever. And especially after this, the eyes are open. We're like, wow, this was nuts. This was crazy to see all of this information in front of you. But look at all of you guys are now running with massive level of alignment and power. And it makes me feel really powerful and super blessed that I got a chance to do this with you guys. I appreciate you guys doing me a huge favor, sharing this with your team, whether it be like a snapshot of all of us. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take a picture so I can use this for my marketing as well too. It'll just be like a quick little snap of us taking like one of these, and then at least that way I can share with my social media. If you guys can share with yours, that'd be awesome. I'm going to also be sending you guys written reports. So written reports are going to be like an instruction or owner's manual, but you'll have to give me a little bit of time to create that because, of course, I've got a lot of stuff to take care of, and a lot of people here are going to be patient with me. The conversation also continues. I have my Numerology alumni group. So I'm going to be inviting you guys into my own private group so that you can be part of the conversation around everyone who's also aligned. There's a group of us, and we've been hundreds of us in the chats. There's thousands of people I've read, but we continue keeping this journey forward where I do this same kind of monthly style webinar once a month where I do another group session. You don't have to pay for it. You can be in there. You need a recharge. You need to sort of click into the next level, the next form. I offer that space, and there are so many cool things coming out in the future for sure. But I appreciate you guys being here with me, and also Vivi for organizing all of this. You've been just instrumental in all of this. If there are any questions, you guys can unmute yourselves. I don't mind to go back into the chart. If you want to type it in the chat, you can do that as well. Seeing as no one's unmuting, you can type it into the chat if that's fine. Otherwise, we'll wrap it.
Well, I do have one question.
Sure, please.
So I've been trying to find a website, but now that listening to you, it sounds like if I tell somebody that it's HTTPS, that's just a whole long thing to say. So
if you need to use it in order to make the site work for the way you display it, then fine. But I would say that we would want to avoid those things because sites are going to need to be secure, especially in the day and age we're in. And at the same time, you don't want to have to start ripping out HTTPS www.com. Like for me, I'd be like, can we just find a shorter domain? Can we just find something that works just at, vvandhelica.com or, whatever, so that you can whip it in as a sentence. It's memorable. People know it. They can visit the site. It's good. But if we have to use those, it's because we're trying to stretch it to make it work, and the domain is there. We want to put it somewhere, but do we need to follow that process? If you're okay buying a new domain, they're cheap to begin with, and then they renew later, right? It's a cost, but stay away from that kind of stuff if you can. And that's why we have the app for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to add the 1111, but it doesn't work with me. So I'll just keep it because that's that's me, magic, So I wanted to add some magic into it, but I'll just keep my name the way it is. All right, thank you.
Keep playing with more numbers. It could be 222. It could be 99, or it could just be 0, 000, or double 1, or even just 7, or just 8, or you could stumble across something so awesome. And if you have to settle, I'd like to think it's because you didn't stumble yet. Like stumble before you settle, right? Like
okay,
might as who knows what else we can come up with. I've got a spreadsheet full of vibrations that I'm saving, so that I want to use. But cool, look at you guys. Everybody's all lined up. This was a powerful experience. I appreciate. This was very sacred for me to be able to do this. Tanji says she's got a question too. I'd love to hear it. If you want to unmute yourself.
Okay, hey. So I don't know if this is a technical thing or would it matter. So with tangiveloso.com, I never asked about tangiveloso.com, and it actually goes anything that with any of my other businesses, it directs to my Gmail account, which is famlovevillage at Gmail. So I don't know if that matters that it's being directed to a different email.
Here's where it doesn't matter. Your clients aren't going to see that. It's a backwards or a backdoor referral. The challenge is, if you use it, then, it'll, because you're not going to use it either. So they'll mail you from the email and then you'll email them back to that email. So yeah, it should be okay. I would just be looking at FamLove and making sure that one works.
Okay. All right. And then this is the other thing. It's like when I do transition in a year or two to Tangi's Enrica, then it's like, I'm wondering if I should just change it. You said that it doesn't work as tangisenrica.com, but I don't think I asked if it would work under XYZ.
Yeah, then you put www as well. So if you change the site around, then the name will just work, and then it'll just be www.that.xyz.
Okay.
Thanks, Angel, for organizing this. Have a great night. It's midnight here. I'm too jazzed up to sleep. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying you're going to sleep. Yeah, too jazzed. Just way too much energy. We've lit something up really powerful. But okay, is that clear? XYZ only works when you put www in front of it, but yours did word tangiveloso.com, right?
Right, that worked too. But then I'm like wondering if I do switch to Tangi's Enrica in a couple of years. It's like I'm wondering if I should just do that now and make it.
All I can tell you is if you should not go down that path or not. So that's the only thing that I can say for sure.
Yeah.
That if it's going to be something you can use, then you can use it. You'll know when you're ready. But I can't tell you when you're ready. I can just make sure that when you are, you'll know. Don't do the wrong thing. And that's why I'm like, just remember, guys, nobody changes legal names. Please don't do that on your own. And get into a relationship. I do offer payment plans. So if you can't afford a session, you do want to work with me, just pay me later. I don't care. I won't tell you when. When is divine timing? But I would want to make sure that we create alignment for you, as opposed to you taking certain things on and then or messing it up. Like don't take your name and go Angel KT Williams - build your life with me or super success business. What I'm giving you works alone. Don't put anything else. It's a container. As soon as you start putting building your life with Angel KT or putting AKTW, it's not the same as running what that name works. The only way KT works is if you put Angel Williams. And so the same thing with all you guys, that's what you want to have. But this is the conversation that Tanji and I have been having for the last couple of days, and it's extremely important.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not sorry at all. It's extremely important because you're taking this seriously, and I know that I do in my life. I have this conversation with my wife every day. So we have to, because it's so subtle, and you look back to those different definitions that are in there, you don't know where you're going to need it next. So when you get a new place, just pull out the app, or message me if you can't have it, and we'll. And if you are using the app, post a picture of you using it, and then I'll add you to the testing group, and then I'm giving away my 12-hour program, as a gift. So it's like a contest to win. So definitely, and you have to give me a rating on iTunes as well. But are there any more questions or anything else anyone else has before we let you guys go for the night?
There's so much gratitude.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Can you put the phone down so we can take a picture?
Yes, I'll take a picture with you guys for sure. Tag me everywhere it is, whether it's in Instagram or however it shows up. But I'll provide an audio replay as well too. And this is it, guys. You guys are superheroes now. There's a reason why I wear
so much.
Yeah, this is awesome. I appreciate you guys a lot. I'll remember this one for a long time. And it'll only be a few months before you guys are calling me back. You're like, Bobby, we got to do a group session now. I got a new group of people. I'm going to organize it, and I appreciate you guys. All right, we'll let you guys go then. Have a great night.
It's not working. Did anybody get a picture? Mine's not taking one.
Okay, I'll quickly take one here. I'll do another one. I definitely did take one, but I can take another one powerfully as well. All right, well, then we'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, there, I got it. All right, we'll talk to you guys in a bit.
Oh, there went.
All right, take care.
I also did the mom thing and took like 9 pictures, so we got it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I got it.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys, take care. Bye.